Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Warcry podcast. I'm your host, Norgoz, and I'm joined by some awesome individuals and some crazy people in the background doing random stuff. I am joined by Nicky Duh, Vivid Naz, Setback. We've got Verbalocity, Havoc, Lolly Chul, Daddy Love, the daddiest of laws. I am your host, Norgoz, and we are here in the Warrior's Den. That's right. We have a couple of questions that we have to ask our cast. Of course, I am starting next Friday, the 8th of November is when we're going to start doing live shows again. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Warcry podcast. I'm your host, Norgoz, and I have a great guest for you tonight. I'll introduce him here in just a moment. Does not need any introduction, however. Glad you guys joined us. This is season 2 of the Warcry podcast, and for those of you who did not see the promotional video beforehand, that's correct. While we were in Montreal visiting Ubisoft, we were able to record some footage in the Warrior's Den. I was hoping to show some of that to you guys tonight. Unfortunately, I've been so swamped this week, I haven't had a chance to edit some of the footage together the way I wanted to, and I need to do that. So I'll be doing that either between now and next Friday, next shows. I will get that together for you, and we'll either show it on the next Warcry or I'll show it to you throughout the week. So that's something that I've been really excited about. I know that the other folks have participated in that, and the team was excited about seeing that happen. And I was grateful for that opportunity. But guys, this is the Warcry podcast. If it's your first time here, fret not. We have a great show in store for you tonight. We talk about we have meaningful discussions regarding community-driven topics about a game that we have all come to know and love. My guest tonight, this evening, of course, I'm your host, Norgoz, right here on the Warcry podcast. But I am joined tonight by the man, the myth, the legend himself. That's not the man, the myth, the legend himself. There he is, yes! Daddy Law himself. All right, my man. Glad that you were able to join us. Thank you so much. It was awesome, of course, to meet you in person. This guy brought me this lovely, legitimate, truly Irish flat cap. This guy right here, I can't say enough good things about him. He's genuine. He's down to earth. But, of course, I'm not supposed to say that live because it's going to ruin his reputation of, being the best trash talker in the fucking For Honor directory. So I got to be careful about how I say, how I leverage that. But, Daddy, good to have you here, man. How are you feeling?
Dude, I'm doing good. Only after a long-ass stream, had a big meal. I'm set, and I'm ready for the show.
Fantastic. I've been looking forward to this all week long. I've got some show notes off to the side. We've got a few different topics with them. I'm sure at some point in time we'll go back and forth and we'll talk a little bit about our experiences in Montreal. And we're going to be talking about speed of development. I initially referred to this as evolution of development, but I think to be a little bit more clear, we're specifically talking about the speed of development. Is it fast enough? Is it too slow? Is it too fast? The pace in which the game has been developing over the years and where it is currently. Is it developing at a speed that the community finds acceptable? And just so we're throwing out the objective portion of that right away, just because the players think that it's not fast enough doesn't mean that it's not fast enough. And just because the players think that it's too fast doesn't mean that it's too fast either. We're going to get into that. Hero changes in the patch. There's been some buffs. There have been some nerfs. There have been some good. There have been some maybe objectively not as good. And we'll get into that. Our initial thoughts on Zhanhu, the new hero. The new Wulin hero is out. Forgive me. The new Wulin hero is out, and a lot of people are playing it. A lot of people are actually playing this hero, and we'll talk about that as well, and our initial experiences on it, what we think about it since release. And finally, the big thonk, viable offense. Now, specifically when we talk about viable offense, we'll get into more of it later, but just so nobody's confused, when we say viable offense, we're talking about what type of mechanics and movesets actually function in the world of For Honor that is, like I said, viable. What is something that actually functions that's not going to just be Like, say, if you have a light attack that's 1,000 milliseconds, clearly that's not viable, you know. So, as an example, so there have been a lot of changes over the years, and we're going to start off with the speed of development. Of course, welcome all you guys here watching us live on Twitch. Those of you that are watching the VOD on Twitch or on YouTube, we appreciate the hell out of all of you. It's a great opportunity for me to host this podcast, and it's a great opportunity to bring this to the community because this is a way for us to all kind of have a discussion about the things that we care about. I truly do mean it when I say meaningful discussions and community driven topics. So, first off, again, the ultimate purpose of this is to bridge the gap between the community, between casual and competitive, and creators and audience, so that we're all have an opportunity to to experience things we not have been experienced before and get insight that we may not have otherwise gotten as well. So, speed of development. So, context. So that we can have a discussion, we have to have a context. So when For Honor first launched, there was peer-to-peer. There was peer-to-peer networking, overly strong attacks, and fun but sometimes clunky mechanics. Development over nearly 3 full years has progressed steadily and at times drastically, with what is dubbed as Year 3 being one of the best yet. We're finally moving in the right direction of what a fighting game is supposed to be focused on. You know, strategy, posturing, making good reads on opponents, and overall aggression. So I think that, generally speaking, I think it is we are moving in the right direction. But the question is whether or not the speed is. Now, although we've come leaps and bounds, including implementation of dedicated servers and major rework starting in season 5, my cats are destroying shit in the background, and that has got to stop, cats. I will turn this fucking podcast off, cats. All right, so major rework starting in season 5 and massive recovery reductions these last few seasons. There's still room for improvement, and some players are really not willing to wait. Now, before we get into this, the creators, the invitees of Ubisoft, we had the opportunity to, keeping in mind that we are under NDA for the things that we have seen or consulted on, we had the opportunity of reviewing things that may be in development. So if you guys ever ask us questions, here or otherwise, and we can't answer them, try not to be too harsh, because there are things that we just can't discuss. Sometimes we might be able to be vague and say, I would look forward to the future, and that's probably the most that we can get at without, and that's really teetering on the line. But going forward, the first question that I've got here, how do you view the speed in which For Honor has evolved over the years, and where do you rate the current rate of production, Daddy?
Like, funny enough, this is a question that I'm actually asked quite a lot whenever I'm streaming myself. And the response that I always have to it is the speed of this game. It can't really be looked at as fast or slow in my perspective, because there's no game like For Honor that they can sort of base balancing off of, or development cycles off of. It's extremely unique in terms of its design and the way that it's played. So it's kind of why I've always been extensively patient with it. But then again, there are certain things that we can all, remember, where it's a bit iffy in terms of how slow they were to make some changes. One example would be the light into Bash being confirmed for BP back when it was first released. That change came in super quick. That was within a week, I think, after being done.
It's pretty
Then
quick.
there's other things that there were there that took an extensively long period of time. For example, heal unblocking minion lane. That was a entirely broken thing, which makes Conqueror quite literally unkillable in mid lane, and that change only came in with this season patch.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you say yourself, there's ups and there's downs with it, but overall, I say the general pace of the development in the game in terms of moving forward, I say it's a good pace. One, because they're not rushing it. And that's a good thing because they haven't got anyone to base their experiences off of, because there's no game like it. But they're also testing the waters with certain changes. Changes like the change to stunning tap to storming tap.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we can't say why, but they're having to make small changes for future changes. And by doing that, they'd much rather take their time and test the reactions of smaller changes towards the big changes in the future, rather than implementing them all at one point and making one big mistake. They'd rather make one mistake and then improve on those as they go towards the final goal.
Very, very well said. And especially that last part, I agree 100%. We have to, when it comes to Storming Tap, that is actually one that I know a lot of people are already. I went back, I watched the VOD of the live stream, the most recent Warriors Den, where not the most recent, but the big season reveal. And I watched the chat's reactions. And I've seen chat's reactions and I've seen the reactions on Twitter. And there's some big names making some big, some big points in regards to Storming Tap. I
Hmm.
myself made a comment while I was on the show itself, and I think taken out of context, some people might have misunderstood. I was, and I said something to the effect of, I was asked, why did I switch to Raider? And I said, I figured why not try Storming Tap, because nobody likes Storming Tap, and I know, take it out of context, that sounds really bad in hindsight, because
Yeah.
I realize it's something it really haunts. I'm gonna have to like directly ask the team, hey, did I fuck up? Did I really fuck up? Because that's not, because we're there to promote the game, right? And I'm like, yeah, so nobody likes Storming Tap. What I meant by that was nobody likes getting hit by Storming Tap. And in the sense of that, no, there was a lot of people that were complaining about Stunning Tap to the point to where it seemed as, there were a few people that seemed to like it the way it was.
Hmm.
And I think that the majority of people that liked it the way that it was were people that could play the game at a high level of play. I
Hmm.
myself, although I'm not at the top tier of, I based on Ubisoft's ranking, I'm like top 10%. I'm in Diamond, so
Hmm.
and I'm not bragging about that, guys. I'm just saying like that's nothing compared to like the top one, like the top five and the top one in Master and Grandmaster. Those players are insane. In my placement matches, I've gone up against Enorth before in singles, and oh my god, his shaman's fucking scary. It's
That's
fucking
Monk W
scary.
right
It's
there. That's some
huh?
scary shit. That's some scary stuff. Like Enorth,
Yeah.
players like that with reaction times of 180 milliseconds, it's unbeatable. It's
It's it's
genuinely insane.
I think I got one kill. I think I got one, and after that, no more, no more. It was disgusting. So I even even players at my level, I recognize that it's something that was needed. Raider needs an opener. It needed an opener. It needed an opener for the longest time, and I think that now that we've it changed in such a in sort of a I know a lot of people see it as such a drastic way, and I agree with what coming full circle here with what Daddy Law was saying. I know that that the dev team has been taking their time with the way that they're making changes. I can kind of we can kind of see the big picture here, that they're moving towards a goal, and I've been saying this for the longest time. They're moving towards a more aggressive play style. So these little tweaks and these little changes, though it may seem drastic at first, in the big grand scheme of things, once more things get adjusted and more things happen, I think everything's going to fall into place. As far as the Storming Tap itself, I feel like we've derailed ourselves into the realm of Storming Tap, but it did seem like a drastic change if you take it in the grand scheme of there were also damage nerfs to Raider. And I think a lot of people can agree Raider's damage as a Vanguard is pretty freaking high,
Hmm.
especially given that he has hyper armor that he can go through and get, upwards of 40 plus damage, and then get like a 40 damage light parry, which so did
90 damage
Highlander.
out of stamina wall throws and everything. It
Yes,
was insane, crazy.
it was a lot that he had in his kit. So I understand where people are coming from with that. So that's something that that is I agree with Daddy that there is a big there's going to be things like that that happen over time that we may not see the big picture. We may not know about the big picture until it actually gets released. Because I think that's and when it comes to game development, if you talk about something and it's not ready or it's not okay, let's talk about leaks. Let's talk about leaks. Let's compare this to leaks. Somebody leaked shit about the hero, right? And so then people just immediately jumped on that and took from that whatever they would, extrapolated whatever they would, and then now it's upon release, people have this preconceived notion about what it is or what it's supposed to be or whatnot, and that's not the way they wanted it to be done. Until you can actually get all the information directly firsthand, you just don't know. What did you? Speaking of the leak, I didn't. I I feel that's something that's appropriate right now. Did you catch the leaks, Daddy? What was your initial thoughts on seeing that?
On the leaks, personally, whenever I read them, I never take leaks serious because obviously the whole thing, everything's subject to change before it comes out. But with those leaks being so close to the release, obviously they were real and they had everything there. But my instant reaction to it was one, the guy who leaked it is a scumbag who signed an NDA and is a piece of shit. Two, if you're going to leak stuff, at least don't get caught like a
Oh, they got
dumbass.
caught. They got
Oh yeah,
caught.
big time. They found the account and everything. They found the person who used the account. Now I'm pretty sure they found the second account that did it as well. The
I
second
know.
guy actually fucking sold himself out on YouTube, literally.
Oh, yeah. I know for a fact. At least one of them was caught. I'm not gonna say how I know that, but I didn't know. I didn't know about the second one. I definitely. I think that there was a suspect for sure, and I imagine they probably got them both for sure. Yeah, for
Mhm.
sure. But yeah, it didn't take long at all either. So don't leak. It doesn't take. It's not hard. It's not difficult to figure that stuff out.
We're living in the 20th century, man. Like if
We
you,
really
you
are.
log in online, people know where you are. They literally know where you are. You get early access if you log in. They know exactly where that account is. They have a name attached to it. They pick you for the early access. You're not
Right.
fucking safe. You ain't safe.
Do you like For Honor? Do you want to play For Honor? Do you want to, spam shoulder bash and and yell at people? Good fight, good fight. Wow, 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 wow. You're trash. You're mad, bro. You mad, bro? Do you want to do that? Do you want to be able to do that and be toxic? Because you can probably do that a little bit and get away with it, but you don't want to leak. Just don't leak.
Hmm. Just don't be that guy. If
Don't
you're
be
given the
that
opportunity
guy.
for early access, don't be that guy.
That guy obviously can't get a girlfriend or a boyfriend, or an animal or anything else that he wants in life, because he's a loser, or
He
she's
was
a
probably
loser.
sitting in his mother's basement throwing a 20-sided die to decide whether or not he would leak it. Obviously, he rolled a 20, meaning it would leak, unfortunately, but yeah, shit happens.
Yeah, that's all. That's partly, that's all kind of partly humor, but really it was an I certainly, what's the word I'm looking for? I condemn, I condemn it.
Hmm.
I wouldn't do it. Like Daddy said, like if you're not going to get that opportunity again, that person or people, they're not going to get that opportunity again. And I know
Yeah.
we're just preaching to the choir. So moving on to the next question here. So with all that in mind, what do you think should be the number one priority of the dev team at this point, based on your thoughts and your community's feedback?
General focus on what they should be going towards mainly, like as a priority. Is that what you
Yes,
mean?
yes.
Well, recently, after reading a couple of articles, the CEO of Ubisoft were talking about it, and they were talking about making all of their PvP games cross-platform. And because I was talking to Crack about this quite a lot whenever we were in Montreal, and his big idea on it was consolidating the player base. Limiting the game to 60 FPS on all platforms, increasing the frame rate on consoles to 60 FPS because next generation and stuff,
Right, right.
and giving us all an equal playing field, sort of thing. And I agree with that. And that sort of makes me think back to the stun tap changes as well. One, I'll say I never thought stun tap was a opener ever. Block tap, you're never going to get stunned easy. Not an opener, but if it landed, you had access to mix ups. You can react to animation if you're a better player. But overall, consolidating the player base, making it an even playing field across the board. Obviously, it's not an easy thing to do whenever it comes to the top tier of play. But the top tier of For Honor is what, say, like a less than 5% population, maybe like 3% population, people who have reaction times sub 240, sub 230. Players like Setmix, Clutch,
Hmm.
Ghost Over, and Silencer, who all have sub 200 millisecond reactions. I think I heard Clutch said on a stream one time they can consistently, if they're focused and rested well, they can consistently react to 180 millisecond, something like that.
Yeah.
So obviously you can't do it as good for them because with them being so well tuned to the game and being so good at it, it's not going to affect them as much. But making the game better for everybody is the aspect on it. That's one thing, but that's not the main thing I think needs to be done. The matchmaking needs to be fixed. That is the main thing. That is the biggest thing right now. Biggest thing right now, and they obviously they're more than aware of how big of a problem it is. They've put the game out for free twice, and the matchmaking has not been the best at all. They've had promotions for it, and the matchmaking has been the best at all. Like daily, still, I get the thing. It's like, oh, you're finding the games fairly quick, aren't you? I'm sitting here in 15-minute queues. My reply instantly is, get some friends, get at
Hmm.
least 2 to 3 people in your squad, make your game experience better. But if you're playing the game alone, which a lot of people seem to be doing now, because people leave the game because they think it's a dead game, sort of thing. But the priority needs to be the matchmaking. They need to figure out that algorithm, get that back into what it was last season, and improve it for the general population, because that's across all platforms. Finding games for most people. If you're solo, you're not going to find a match in less than 5 minutes, in less than 10 minutes, actually, because a lot of people who are quite decently leveled players, Marcus, Papa, uh, Mojo, a whole bunch of people like who are in my chat 24/7 every day. They always get 10+ minute queues, and they're finding matches with bots and stuff. You see that live on Clutch's stream, on Crack's stream. The MM is in a horrible state, and they need to prioritize that extensively to ensure that when people do pick up the game, they're actually able to experience it. They're not being matched against these 500 and 600 rep players who have over 5,000 hours in the game. They need to be placed against people of equal skill, whether it's putting in reputation brackets based on your rep, or time played brackets, or win loss ratios. They need to figure it out, stat, and improve the experience. That is what needs to be done.
I think a lot of players would probably agree with that statement. I know that that was one that's a constant thing that I hear in my own channel. That's something that I personally was. I know a lot of us. We got to meet the dev team from you know I don't want to like name drop everybody, but we got the chance to meet the dev team and in various every people who deal with various aspects of For Honor, including combat, and I was able to I had so a lot of one-on-one conversations. I was lucky to have that opportunity, I brought that up at one point, as a in conversation. I was like, matchmaking is something that a lot of people are concerned about right now. And I told them, I was like, I know that you guys are gonna get a handle on this. I know that I know that you've made changes over the years. I know you've made changes, recently, and it seems like I think I even pointed out that at one point it seemed like it was, at one place, and then somehow there was a drastic change. It seemed like almost like a drastic change, and then we're kind of like where we're at now. Um, the the thing though is that so they're definitely aware. They're definitely aware that it's an issue, and I think that I have the utmost faith that they're going to fix it. But I agree that that is something that you got to you have to be able to keep your players. And
Mhm.
if you're bringing in new players with the Zhanhu and the matchmaking isn't working out, and they're getting put against players that are they're much higher level, or a much higher level, or much higher experienced than they are at the game, then that's gonna make them question whether or not they want to stay with the game or not. And so I fully understand where you're coming from. I understand where the community is coming from. I know it's frustrating. The only thing I can personally say is, while I agree that it is a pain point right now, they are taking strides to make it work.
Mhm.
I mean, number one, I mean, it's like, just don't put symbols in your name. Apparently, that's
Oh, yeah,
one
that was
thing
in the
you can
patch
do.
notes.
That's
Special characters literally prevented you from matchmaking at all. You couldn't find anybody, and that was
yeah.
fixed a patch ago. This patch.
I think it was this one. Yeah, I think it was this one. They fixed that. They fixed that as an issue, and you got to think like that's something that really took a lot of work to find. I can tell you this. That is something that when it comes to computers, I can recognize this as a thing. When I put in I used to work for a very large corporation, and when I would update my passwords every like month or so, because I was forced to. So I would, you require a symbol, a number, and all that stuff, and I would put in, or no, some systems would take symbols, others would not like symbols.
Mhm.
However, if you're resetting your password, it lets you put in a symbol on your password. And then guess what? It logs you in. The next time you try to log in, though, it doesn't like symbols. So even though it lets you put in a symbol on your password, if you type the symbol in, it says you have the wrong password. It doesn't let you log in. So you have to go back through an entire reset and change that up. So I know from a programming perspective, not
Hmm.
like personal experience programming, but I understand that coding can get screwed up like that. You may not know. So I know that's something that I know it's not really a good answer for anybody. I know that even as a player, like if I go solo, I have the same kind of experience you guys, everybody else does. It takes a little longer, and when I get matched up, the reps are all over the place, and it's weird. When I go on a stack, it seems like it's a lot more concise. Um,
Hmm.
I also could be getting more stuck with more, against other stacks, and I think that tends
Yeah,
to be what it
of
is.
course.
Is I get stuck with more stacks than it is solos. So one of the thing I did mention about matchmaking, I've said this in the past too, is Heroes of the Storm, Blizzard's Heroes of the Storm, the MOBA. They did something with their matchmaking where and this question was asked to me, would you rather have better quality matchmaking or faster matchmaking? And I said, there's the answer to that, and and there's multiple answers to that. So they had a really good point with that too. It's like, do you want better quality matchmaking? Do you want better speed in matchmaking? And I said, my perspective on that is I don't mind waiting longer if I'm going to have a quality game, because, and I think the community as a whole would prefer quality, even if they say they want speed. And here's why:
Hmm.
because if you get matched in a game and it's completely like you're brand new and you get matched in a game in 1 minute every time, but you're getting up against rep 100s, those people clearly have a lot more experience with you than you do. It's going to be a mismatch. But if it takes you 5 minutes to get a match, and you're always getting matched with someone who is as close to your skill level that is possible, you're going to be upset about it being 5 minutes, and you're going to complain about it. But you're
Hmm.
not going to complain about the quality of the game. So if you have a fast game and you don't have a quality game, you're going to complain about both of them. You're not going to be happy at all, because you get the game and then you got to complain. You got to leave. You got to requeue. You get the same people. You requeue again. You get somebody else. They're
There's
even
always a
higher than.
negative aspect to it. Yeah.
There's going to be the negative aspects of it. So I
Hmm.
think as a whole, the community would prefer quality over time. So I'm
Oh
sure
yeah.
that there's a going. I'm sure there's something that's being experimented with. I mean, clearly they're paying attention to it. The symbol thing was not something I've experienced any issues with, because I don't put symbols in my game, but in my name. But I mean, that said, I do have a zero in my name, but that's not really a symbol. I mean, I am. I mean, I clearly though. I mean, in my past life, I was a sex symbol. Um, in the
After drinking with you in Montreal, I can confirm that's probably true. This man likes to cuddle.
Thanks, Daddy. Thanks, Daddy. Man, we had some good fucking times. I can't. I'm telling. It was literally like a. I keep telling everybody. It was like a fucking dream. Am just. I'm just grateful as hell that I had that opportunity to go to hang out with you guys, to meet the dev team, to help showcase the other heroes. And that was what should have said. Should have really said. Um, Whenever they were asking me about Raider, one of my main reason for changing it was Storming tab, because I wanted to showcase the Storming tab, and that
Mm.
it doesn't have the flash anymore. And I saw, and that actually did work. I did accomplish that goal, because Verbalocity was very on point with that, talking about, all right, so let's see when he gets the Storming tab out here. You'll see. Now, did you see that there was a difference? Did you notice there was not a flash? So I did accomplish that goal, but I did a poor job of executing this discussion about it. So I'm look directly into the camera. Dev team, I love you, and I apologize if that was a bad moment for me. When I talked about Storming Tap and I said nobody liked it, that's not what I meant. I explained it before, but I want to apologize to you guys. I love you. So, but yeah, no, I think that matchmaking is something that is something that is a really high priority. I would probably agree. I have to agree with you on that. I think from my community and in general, I think one of the biggest things that I hear about, and I just heard about it again last night, uh, and I think earlier this week. It was a lot of people seem to be pretty heated about not getting armor, and I guess I just don't understand. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. The 4 fashion is like one of the main things of the game is looking
I've been
cool,
hearing a lot of that as well, actually.
but
Yeah.
I've been hearing a lot of things about armor, and I'm like, it was pointed out to me last night. Well, how long many seasons has it been since we got armor? 2, 3? And I'm like, shit. I guess it has been a while, hasn't it? It's been a while since we've got armor, so I can understand people wanting to get more armor. I would like to have more armor too, but it's not really a huge priority for me. I mean, we're getting weapons. We're getting the
Mhm.
weapons, and for me, I think that's in some ways more important than the armor. I think all the armor in the game right now looks fucking amazing. So I suspect this is going to be a prediction. I know that people are already are trying to figure out what's going to happen on the 21st of this month. What do you think is going to happen on the 21st of this month? Before I give my prediction, what are you thinking, Daddy?
The 21st of this month.
Yeah,
That's
on the roadmap, it's got the
on the
little
roadmap.
shadows of all the vanguards.
Shadows all the Vanguards. I'm guessing it's more than likely going to be new armor. New armor. But what I'm also hoping for are some slight balancing things. Not huge things like, oh, Centurion rework confirmed and shit like that. But like slight little things. Maybe mainly towards the newer hero because he needs a little bit of help, very small bit of help for sure. But
Yeah,
one thing that I think people keep forgetting about is I've like you said there, and I forgot all about it, is the whole thing about fashion and wanting new armor. A lot of people have forgotten or mustn't have watched the Warriors Den whenever they said it, but it was like what 3 or 4 Warriors Dens ago, or maybe even longer. They said they were working on new armor. Like they've openly said that the
right.
armor's coming. It's there. The team's working on it. You just got to wait for it.
Yes.
Like it's gonna be there. It's gonna be there.
No, you're right. No, you're right. I remember that. It was God, how long ago was it? I'm gonna say it was sometime last season, or during the season of Hitokiri. It was a little bit ago, but yes, you're right. No, I remember because they acknowledged it. They said something to the effect of, we know you want more armor. Just to let you know, we're working on it. Basically, like what you said, like we're working on it. You just have to
Mhm.
wait for it, and they moved on. They addressed it and they moved on from it. So yeah, I do remember that. But I do remember that was something that I was like, oh, okay, well, we'll get armor whenever we get it. I don't, just whatever. Um, so I'm not too worried about the armor personally. I know it's going to happen eventually. So when it happens, great. In the meantime, I've got new fucking weapons, man, and they look great.
Oh hell yeah!
They look great.
These
I'm
weapons
not a
look
big JJ. I know you're a big JJ player. What do you think about that new JJ weapon?
Bro, I did the one that's just came out. I
Yeah.
haven't actually managed to loot it yet.
Oh, it looks so
Those
good.
those drops are rare, but it is pretty. It is gorgeous. It is wonderful. The weapons they've put in are very nice, very nice. I've gotten the Lawbringer weapon. I'm
Mm,
pretty sure I've gotten it for Highlander and Raider as well. They're
yes.
nice. Good lord, they're nice. I'm going. I should stop talking about the weapons looking so good, or else I'm going to start gushing over my JJ fashion for an hour about that shit.
I'm gonna.
Oh
Well, here's
god.
it. Well, speaking of JJ fashion, you didn't do a lot of JJ fashion during in Montreal, did you?
No, I didn't. I didn't. I got my feats or my perks ready,
Uh huh.
and I was going to build a Guan Yu, the
Yeah.
God of War from Dynasty Warriors,
Mm-hmm.
sort of build. That's what my JJ right now in my version of the game is built off of. He's got the gold, he's got the green. His weapon has that sort of dynasty-esque feel to it.
Yes.
It's gorgeous, so it is. But like the weapons that they release, like every set of weapons are really good. I'm not the biggest fan of some of the night weapons, specifically BP, Conqueror, Gladiator. They're a little bit overboard for me. I'm a big fan of the sort of simple taste with weapons.
Oh,
JJ's event one, brilliant. Highlander's event one, I can't remember the Yorm, rather the Jormungand, I think it
you're
is. It's very simple. It's like a green sort of wood on. It's like an ash, but it's stained. It's not got a lot to it. It's got one emerald on the hilt, and that's about it. But it's straightforward. BP's is always over the top. I don't like things that are too flashy.
so what? So you like? So you really like the event, the Assassin's Creed event, then that had all those weapons?
Oh,
Because those were all the like very like I guess realistic and somewhat plainish
mhm.
weapons. I did not
The
get.
best weapons they brought out. I loved it. Loved
They
it.
were they were all amazing. I think I got the ones for Zerk. I don't know if I got it for Highlander. I didn't get it for Raider because I wasn't playing Raider that much back
Mhm.
then. But I wish to gods that I would have.
Oh, dude, that axe head is fucking massive.
It's
Like
incredible.
that thing's huge.
It really is. That's what she said. So I
I wish.
agree with her. It's very shiny, and it's very large, and it's in your face, man. It is menacing. It is menacing. I wish I would have gotten it. I don't think that I didn't. I didn't. I think I may have played Raider a little bit, and I might have gotten the the pole or the end, the pommel, but I don't think but I didn't get the axe head. So now I'm kind of sad panda about that. But anywho, so going back to the hell, I was gonna make a prediction. So the prediction, I think, actually no, before I forget this, you mentioned Guan Yu. What I would
Mhm.
like to see for a Wulin hero is a polearm user like I can't. I should have done my research on this because I'm a big Dynasty Warriors fan. I'm a big fan of the history of that time frame of the Seven Kingdoms. But he was a hero. He used the pole arm, and I think he also at some point he was allied with Liu Bei.
I think I know
Um,
the one you're talking about.
he
I can't really remember his name though. Like silver armor, the pole arm. It was like a spear tip, and it had like a sort of thin, long axe head halfway down. It was like a very weird halberd sort of thing.
yeah. It
I
was
think
a
that's what. I
well.
remember his name though.
There's Lu Bu, and then there's this guy, and then there and
Zhao Yun,
yes,
Zhao Yun.
yes, that's
Is that his
him.
name?
That's
That's
him.
the one. That's the one.
That is exact. That's like, damn, you got a good memory.
Dude, if I've played them all. They're god tier games. Quality. I've
Yeah,
got them all on Steam.
I have the last one that I got was what is it? I think it's 8 Extreme Legends 8. So
Hmm.
that has like all the stuff, whatever their story mode kind of was, like your Conqueror mode or whatever, where you start building up your dynasty. Um, it doesn't have the. Don't think it has like the strategy one. That was a separate one, but you have all the other game modes with it, the time trials and all that other shit, which is really they had like 50 characters or some shit that you could play as. You had a whole different kind of you had like a basically like a holy trinity weapon system, 2 sets of weapons, 3 different weapon types. They had their own
That shit was a
weaknesses and shit.
maze of entertainment. A maze of entertainment. I
I
loved it.
played the shit out of it. I
Quality.
played the shit out of
Quality.
that. It was on sale on PlayStation. I'm not a big console guy, but for games like that, I typically will play it on console. I think I have it on PC now. I think I picked it up on
Hmm.
PC so I could stream it at some point, and I never did because I'm a loser. But yeah, no, I played the shit out of that. I would love to see him so that kind of weapon. So I'm making a prediction: the next Wulin hero is going to be that type of weapon. It's going to be that pole arm for the Wulin. Not the next one, but I mean like the next Wulin hero. I think that's what I would like to see. That's who I want. That would be incredible. That'd be amazing. So that's my prediction slash hope. And yeah, we're like we keep going all over the place. This is gonna be an interesting show because we're just kind of going with the flow, and it
Hmm.
feels really good. And it's a good opportunity for me to reintroduce the both of us. I'm your host Norgoz, the host of the weekly Warcry podcast, a For Honor based podcast. I'm here with Daddy Law, the daddiest of laws, the man, the myth, the legend himself, the true raider in life. He really is. You gotta be careful around this man because he will pillage you, and he will play with your heart and your mind, and he will whisper sweet nothings into your drink and make sure that your drink knows that it's you got to take it home tonight. The drink you have to drink the drink. I don't know exactly what kind of bullshit I was going for, but it didn't make any damn sense. Somebody's gonna make that sound a hell of a lot worse than what it did. What it because it's completely innocent. But listen, drink. I need you to be ready because Norgoz is gonna drink all of you. You have to be prepared. I want to make sure that you are comfortable because you're gonna make him very comfortable. He's the drink whisperer.
Hmm.
This makes no sense.
No, not at all. I love it. I love it though.
I love this. I was raised to never leave a pint unfinished. And you know this, and you know this now because everybody's like starting to run out. That I'm like going down the row. I'm like, okay, this is not finished. This is not finished. Hang on, let me make sure
Dude,
that
I
this
was
is.
fucking surprised to see that. I turned to my left and I was like, "What the fuck's Norgoz?" And I looked back and he's literally going one by one down the thing. He's like, "What is that? 1 pint of beer on the table, 2 pints of beer, 3 pints, 4 pints, five," and he just starts fucking chugging the shit like one after the other. It's like, hello? Like
I
I thought this was a man, not a fucking dustbin. Holy shit!
I warned you guys. I told you, as long as I have something on my stomach, I can hold my liquor. And gods damn it, if I didn't hold my liquor that night, oh my god, that was a great fucking night. And I can't. I remember all of it. I remember all. I didn't black out or anything. It was a really great time. But there were some moments where I was like, okay, I'm up there now. I'm good. Anyway, so no, so we've talked so far. I don't remember how. So I'm Norgoz. This is Daddy. Right? Okay, we did that. Yeah, we did the reintroduction. Okay, this is where the bearded brothers come together. I saw that. So, so despite there being massive improvements, why do you think we see some players pushing for quicker changes? And I'm going to start us off on this one because number one, and the easiest answer is people are impatient.
I was
It
going to say
doesn't.
the exact same thing.
People are impatient, is what it really comes down to. Nobody wants to wait. I am a perfect example of this. When it comes to surprises, I am terrible at them. I am absolutely atrocious at doing surprises. Here's a perfect example. The intro video that I did for this, well, I didn't do it for this show specific. Well, I guess I did, but it was a sort of a promotional trailer kind of thing. I made the trailer from where we did the mini podcast in the Warriors Den, and just so you guys know, I've got like 40 minutes of footage. Okay, it's not just the trailer. There's actual footage that I have for you guys, but I have to edit some of the stuff down to where I'm comfortable with it because it was all recorded on a phone. It was all recorded on a phone, and some of the voices weren't as clear as I wanted it to be, so I'm gonna have to boost them in post. So that's something I haven't had a chance to do this week. I was completely destroyed all over the weekend and Monday, and this entire week I've been working late. So I have had like hardly any time to myself. I even took a day off this week from streaming. I've been completely destroyed. I'm just now getting to the point to where I don't have as much vertigo. I'm starting to kind of get caught up on sleep. So I know on the pre-show you were talking about having some trouble with that too. So you know exactly what I'm talking about. But you're the fucking Iron Man.
It's grand, you know. If I can't sleep, I'll just pull off a 24-hour. It's fine.
See, this fucking
So
guy, I make the joke all the time. He does like 72 fucking 24-hour streams a week. How in the bloody hell do you pull this shit off, man? I don't get it. I know you're younger than me. By the way, as a side note, I was the oldest person out of the group that went to Montreal by by a little bit. I was the oldest one. And I don't know where I was going with that exactly. I was the oldest one, and I was the one who looked the oldest. I definitely looked the fucking oldest.
I'd say we look the same age, to be honest. Somebody
Oh,
walks into a Korean restaurant, sees two bearded redheads sitting at a table with a jug of beer beside them. Both of them clearly at their wits' end, lost in a random country they're not from.
yes. And on my way back, actually, I had somebody look at me like he gave me a look. We were getting ready to get off the plane, and the guy looked at me, and I was like, "Hey, how you doing?" Because he clearly had something to say to me. He's like, where do you look like you're from? I'm like, where? He's like, you look like you're from Scotland. I'm like, yeah, that's you're right on the money. That's where my DNA comes from. So Irish, Scottish, Scandinavian. Let's go.
Talk about a read.
Huh?
Talk about a read.
I know, right? Talk about a read.
Awesome.
This guy, man, I would not want to fight him one-on-one. I would probably get my ass kicked. That was a hell of a read. But no, yeah. So I think that people are just a little impatient, but I understand the desire for speed and for
Mhm,
evolution. I do understand it because over time we have waited very patiently. I told the team I thought that me personally, I think the direction that you're going is good. I think that the time frame in which everything is coming out, I'm comfortable with because I can see. I try to see the big picture of everything. Um, and I understand there's there's time, resources, all that stuff involved. And this is like you said earlier, this is an endeavor that this is their first endeavor with this game,
mhm.
building it on on an engine that was not meant for, you know, for this, right? So or whatever. They're having to manipulate everything and from the ground up. So I understand, but I also recognize that it's been 3 years. I see where people are coming from. That I think that everybody's going to be surprised. I think the team is going to start. I don't want to set the bar too high, but I genuinely do think we're going to start seeing the team ramping things up a little bit quicker in the future. How
Mhm.
soon that's going to be, I couldn't say, but I do think they're going to start ramping things up in the future, and probably the not so distant future, because we've seen such harsh, not harsh, but drastic, I guess you could say, um, amount, I guess, of changes to heroes, cutting so many recovery times, adjusting speed of attack, tweaking little things here and there, damages,
You have
and
no idea how much I want to talk about it, but I'm not a cunt and I don't leak stuff.
I, well, there's yeah, well, there's also the NDA stuff that, but we can't go into that. But really, I mean, over this last year, there's it's been, but seriously, I mean, just specifically this last year, we've seen so much cutting all the cutting the recovery times, adjusting stuff to the point to where it's a lot. It's been a lot of changes. It's been a lot of changes, and going forward, I'm very much looking forward to the future of this game and what the development team has in mind for us, because I have an idea, and I've had a chance to see things, and I'm excited, and that's right there on the line. But I'm prepared to risk that because I want everybody to be hype. You There's a lot. I think there's going to be great things in store for this game whenever in the future, regardless of
Big things to come.
whether I would have said that regardless of whether I'd seen things that are under NDA or not. This game is going to have great things. There are great things in store for this game. The team would not invest that much money and resources into inviting people out to Montreal if they didn't believe in this game and they didn't have a plan to make this game even better than it already is.
Mhm.
So take away whatever assumptions people may be making about the um, what we may or may not have seen or partook in while we were there, because it's this game is going places whether you want it to or not. Now it may not be in the exact speed you want, but it's we're gonna get it's got a bright future ahead of us. I know that there's a lot of people that are speculating about what next year's going to be. Are there going to be new heroes? Is it going to be For Honor 2? Is it going to be this and that and the other thing? And my prediction is that we are going to see. I think there's going to be a lot of new stuff happening. What that's going to be, I don't know. I'm not entirely positive on what that would be, but I can tell you that I think there's going to be a lot of new stuff that's coming to the game. Maybe some heroes, maybe in the form of armor, maybe in the form of other changes. I don't know. I just know that we're there's a good future ahead of us. So I'm going to stop stroking For Honor's ego, because it's it's you guys know we love this game, and we're looking forward to what's gonna I want to see what happens next is really what it comes down to. Moving right along here. So again, the question for those of you just now joining us, despite there being massive improvements, why do you think we see some players pushing for quicker change? And I went on an entirely bullshit rant that I probably shouldn't have gone on, but I did anyway. Daddy, what do you think? Daddy,
I've got sort of an analogy
Daddy.
on explaining it. So there's like, oh, here, we can turn the camera off here if you want. I'm cool with that. Right, I've got a good analogy for it, and it's the whole thing of you've got two kinds of people: people that love something sweet and people who prefer something savory. The people who like stuff sweet is they want it now, they want to eat it, and they want to have it instantaneously. And then there's
Instant
people who like stuff
gratification.
savory. It's got really good taste to it. That flavor is going to stay in your mouth, and you're going to want more. The people who want it sweet are the people who are constantly asking for continuous number tweaks, speed tweaks, matchmaking fix this week, this week, this week, this week, this week. They're the people who are impatient in For Honor. I'm one of the savory people, whereas I believe in developers taking their time with everything. If I see a game out there that's being developed and it's suddenly held back for 6 months, I'm happy to see that because I know that the devs have openly, more or less, stated that there's a problem. We want to fix it. We want to make sure our product is finished. And we want to take our time with it and make sure it's the best it can be. And that's how For Honor's going. Just a lot of players, a majority of players, don't have that kind of mindset about the game because what do you want whenever you buy a video game? You want to play the video game. You want the video game to be fun. You know, you're playing games. You're there to be fucking entertained. That's what you've paid your money for. So I entirely understand people wanting things fixed right away. You know, you pick a hero that you like. You know, say for example you're playing Aramishi. He's not as bad now, but say this is back before he got, you know, fixed a little bit with his tracking and stuff being a little bit better. If I was an Aramishi main back then, I would be absolutely livid with how long it took them to fix him. So I can understand people being upset with how long that took.
I know a few of those. Yeah.
Yeah, but like overall, as much as people want stuff to be quick and why they're like it, it's because they want to be entertained. And certain players aren't entertained because of the certain heroes they play. Me personally, I got lucky. All the heroes that I play have actually been reworked and improved. Literally every one of them: Lawbringer, Raider, Highlander, Shigoki, JJ.
Mm-hmm.
All I got lucky with. I had a fucking strike with that shit, 5-1. Other players are still playing things like fucking who's still not that good these days. Gladiator's better in fours.
Yeah.
Toe Snap Gank is better now, but that's all he still has. Peacekeeper can still just be externally blocked.
Centurion's questionable.
Mm-hmm.
Warlord's
Exactly.
not. Warlord's decent, but he's not. He's not where he's not where he's going to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Exactly. So more or less, you know, gamers will be gamers. You buy a video game, you want to play it then, and you want it to be fun. And that's where a lot of the impatience comes from. Because gamers aren't going to buy something and have a sort of organizational or a sort of overall health view on it. The healthy way of developing a game is taking your time, making sure things are correct and are going to work, and move forward in that manner. An unhealthy form of game design is pushing patches out as quick as you can just to keep things fresh. That's an unhealthy way in terms of developing a game. And For Honor is doing the slow paced, smart way of doing it. Just the majority of the population aren't happy with it.
All right.
Although
So
they should be.
I see where you're coming from. I gotta edit something real quick, and here we go. Thank you
put me
very
in the
much.
dark here? This is mean I can get undressed or what?
Oh, well, I mean, you're not on camera right now, but you're about to
Sweet.
be back on camera. Oh God, put that back on.
Dude, I'm flexible. Look at this shit.
You are a
You see where my
naughty
leg
boy.
is?
What the hell's the
Damn.
matter with you?
Yo.
Jesus. But
All
listen,
right,
okay,
back in
look.
position.
Put your bra back on. Jesus Christ.
Okay. All right. All right.
Thank you.
Chains are away. Good to
All
go.
right. Okay. So you're going to go back on screen now. Now that you're freaking wholesome again. You're so ridiculous. What am I gonna do with you, Daddy? But yeah, I see. But you made a lot of really good points with that. And unfortunately, I really thought we were gonna butt heads a little bit more on some of this shit. So we're gonna have to disagree on something more and I think we're gonna disagree when it comes to the Zhanhu. I think that's where we're really gonna have a different perspective
I've
on
got a
that.
lot to say about Zhanhu.
I know.
I call him Sunday, but I got a lot to say.
Sunday, yeah, I've seen some memes and stuff.
Sunny D.
Yes, that's the one. There you go. The so we've talked so far about the speed of development. We've talked about why the community might be trying to push for quicker change. We've kind of we went all over the place. I made a prediction on what the next hero is going to be for the Wulin. I would really like to see something like the polearm. That polearm hero was Zhao Yun, I
Zhao
think.
Yun.
And I would be very interested. I mean, there's such a history um, of those heroes from back that time. I mean, they definitely. I mean, they even said that JJ was based on Guan Yu, the God of War. That was an
Mhm.
actual person. And I've said this
Yep.
before, but anybody who hasn't seen that show, hasn't seen that episode, or doesn't know, look up your history. Look up the God of War, Guan Yu. That actually wasn't his name. His name was actually very close to Zhang Jun, if not almost want to say but it was very similar to that. Um, but yeah, Guan Yu was like his nickname, which I think that's what actually meant the God of War. So I apologize if I'm wrong on any of these informations, guys. Like, excuse me, guys. As a matter of fact, you see, his name was actually spelled with 5 letters, not 4. Okay, you can't say it as short as you are. You have to speak clearly, and you can't slur your words. I'm sorry. Whatever. So my point is, though, is that we've talked about a lot of things. We went into talking about our potential predictions for what's going to happen next. I want to take a moment here in between some of our topics. We're going to talk about the patch notes, the hero changes. I know we hinted at Storming Tap a little bit. Hitokiri is a big change. Storming Tap is probably one of the most, let's see, known, I guess, the most known change. That and the Hitokiri nerf.
Mhm.
The And I can tell you, there's definitely a lot of feedback on that. There's a lot of people that are very passionate about these two changes specifically. So there's no chance I can avoid talking about that. We have to, whether I want to or not. You can go back, and I was pretty salty earlier this week when people, I got I got hosted from Baxter, and some of his folks were coming in, and we were talking and chatting. And at some point, I don't know if they were from his channel or if they just dropped by in general. But someone had started talking about Storming Tap, and we were going back and forth and discussing it. And I'm like, I'm just trying to wait because this was like on Tuesday. I was like, we're just trying to wait until this goes live on Thursday to really, you know, give my opinion on it, because I want to see how it looks in full population. Because it's still just as fast. It's still gonna land. It's still gonna
Mhm.
hit people if you use it the right way. But the follow-ups are where you're gonna potentially lose your mix-up potential. So I understand people being, and I said it's a valid concern. There's a lot of things that are happening, right? There's a lot of changes that are happening all at once. So you guys have valid concerns. Because you're waiting, you're anticipating, you want to see what's going on. So I get it, I understand. But I forgot, I flipped out. I'm like, dude, everybody's complaining about Stunning Tap. Now you're complaining about Storming Tap. There's just no middle ground anymore. You people can't be pleased. And I did. That was similar. That was about what what I did. I was like, I was just frustrated, man. I love this. I love our community, and I love that we're very passionate. We're very open about our thoughts, and that's why I try to do the podcast, so I can try and in one setting we can kind of discuss in depth what our concerns are, what things that we want to see and hear, and things like that. Because uh, this is a show that I take pride in, and this is a show that I really believe that this is something that I don't know where I'm going with this conversation. All I'm going to say is, look, I'm just going to put it this way: if you guys want things to happen, if you guys want discussions to happen, all you have to do is bring it up, because this is what this show is all about. Because I know that this is something that I've been trying to dance around this, and I can't keep dancing around this without saying it. I've said it before, but after the confirmation, it just sounds like I'm being cocky. But there are people within the team that watch this show, and so if there are things that you guys want to have discussed, this is why I say meaningful discussions, community-driven topics. They're going to see it. They're going to hear it at some point in time. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but someone somewhere is going to point it out to them, and they're gonna get the information. So that's why I try to make it a diversified cast when it's appropriate. So tonight it's the Bearded Brothers. I thought it was a good start to the new season, and I am very happy that we got the Daddiest of Laws to join us. So anyway, so moving forward to the hero changes, those are the two biggest ones, I think. And I'm talking too damn much. I need to pass this over to you. What are you thinking? The with the patch, I've got the patch notes up. I'm actually gonna link. I'm gonna link in chat to the patch notes. If you're watching this on the VOD on like YouTube or something, you can like curse at me in the comments because I probably forgot to put the links in the description because I suck. But it's the 2.15 patch. So that's the one we're looking at. So looking at all these patch notes, what are you thinking are some of the biggest changes, or the ones that people are looking at the most?
The biggest changes, well, obviously, is one Raider. We've already talked about stun tabs, so there's really no point in going over that again. But the overall damage changes on him are quite good. You know, he's no longer this monstrously hard hitter. But the good thing is about these changes, it doesn't overly destroy the hero, and that's one thing I want to like incentivize and touch on right now. The amount of people that have been crying about Raider being dead because of this update is ridiculous. And no pressure. My stun's gone. I have no chain pressure. Like, oh,
Delete Raider.
what? Are you gonna stop doing your fucking Raider charge, which is one of the best ganks in the game? You no longer have one of the quickest clears for unlocked lights in mid lane. Oh wait, sorry. Do you not have the minion clear feet to help you stand there and keep pressure? Can you not get heavy hit stunts for confirmed Raider charges into heavy for heavy trades? Like, my dude, you still have hyper armor, one of the best abilities to trade in the fucking game, and you're going to sit here and cry and shit. Don't slide down to your seat. I can see you down there, fucker. You're staying here for this. You're with me in this. Like, I hate it. I'm flipping me off and shit. Like, everyone's just fucking crying, and I hate it, bro. It's like, grow the fuck up. What are you, a 12-year-old, and your mom and dad bought the game for you? I'm pretty sure this is an 18 game, right?
I'm mature. Yeah, that goes back to.
Mature.
I was just listening to episode 10 of the podcast where I was with Light Boogie and Tree Jack, and we were talking about the spectator mode tournaments and how you had to be 18 to participate in that, and because like it's a mature game and all this other stuff and legal jargon and whatnot. And
flashbacks on that. Oh,
yeah, that was a hell of a thing. But
experience.
yeah. You participated actually in one of those, didn't you?
We participated in the EU one, the Oathbound. It's the stream team that we have also. It was me,
Yes.
Silver, Beguiler, and Rattan. We took part in it, and the issue we had was Ghostover was underage, underage and banned from the tournament initially. And
I remember that.
An alt account to get into it. Raven was aware. I don't care if you say you weren't aware. He was aware. He was more than aware. He was also aware of other team members being underage, such as Otto. Otto's a great dude. Otto's a lovely, lovely, lovely fella. But this is a whole matter of professionalism. If you're aware of rules being broken, you hold those rules down, whether or not you like the cunt or not. It's either you hold the rules up and you be the good cunt, or you be the bad cunt and make yourself look like an asshole whenever people find your shit out and show fucking screenshots of you acknowledging stuff.
Calm down, sir. Calm down. Stop yelling at me. We're supposed to be friends. Why do you do this? Oh my god. Well, I understand the whole. I do understand the whole professionalism thing, and I know that the whole age thing created. I know, and I said this on episode 10, which was back in fucking August. And at this point, like, I can't believe it was that long ago that I had. That was the last show I had actual live guests on. The show after that I did solo because there were some scheduling conflicts. I'm like, I'm just gonna do it live. And that was when my connection first started having problems, and I haven't done the show since. And I've missed this, guys. You have no idea how much I've missed this. But that long ago, we were talking about it, and yes, the age thing created a potential for a shit show. It did. It was a. There were some, it created a potential for questionable stuff to take place because, and I said this on episodes, like, how the hell do you actually verify age on the internet, right? This is a topic I don't like to brush on that much because it is a very touchy subject for everybody involved. I completely understand and recognize that it's there's, like you said, their professionalism has to happen. And I do consider Raven a friend. I think that his heart's in the right place, and I understand there's been, people have came to me and said, there's been questionable this, questionable that. I understand people's concerns. I do.
Mhm.
But I do also know that Raven is somebody who has been consistent with providing us with PC tournaments. And at the end
Mhm.
of the day, if you have a problem with the way that the tournament organizer is doing or handling themselves, you have to keep in mind you can also make a tournament. And I think that's what some people will, tend to forget. So I am 100% with you when it comes to professionalism and all that good stuff. But there's
Mhm.
some people that'll complain about that kind of shit, and they also have to recognize, well, there's an option,
True.
you can do your own. And so if as long as they're keeping that in mind,
Mhm.
I think that's just one thing to keep in mind is that, and at some point in time, I would like to host my own, but I don't know when that's going to be, when that would take place, how I'm going to work that out, because I'm already stretched very, very, very thin with the Warcry podcast, my own streams, my full, my work, um, working full time, working overtime, all that good stuff. But that's neither here nor there. Uh, so rant over. No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. You've brought a lot of valid concerns. I understand where you're coming from with that. But so anyway, so coming back to the patches. So you're trying to say that, or you're saying rather that Storming Tap is not the end all of Raider. It's not the
Oh,
end all
not at
be all
all.
of Raider. He's still going to be good in mid. He still has the what is that feat called again? Is it called
It's that feat that increases your health and your stamina when you kill a minion. It's the
I
oh, or
don't know why I don't know the name, and I'm a Lawbringer main as well.
it's called
I
body
live in mid
count.
lane.
I
That thing. Yes, there you go.
Yeah, it's called body count. Raider has body count, and I hope everyone knows he still has it.
Mm,
he
yeah.
still has body count. His damage numbers are going down, but ultimately,
Yeah.
yes, there was a discrepancy between console and PC. I need to type something for a uh forget this. And the there's a discrepancy between console and PC, right? Um, if I can
You know, about in
type, I
terms
can't
of
even
stun
type
tap and
properly.
shit or what?
Yeah, there's a difference between the stunning tap, right? You've
Oh no,
got
100%.
the flash was this. There's a discrepancy in the flash between
Hmm.
PC and console, and I get that that's a pain point. That was a pain point for
Hmm.
everybody. Um,
I feel that was a big, decider in terms
yes.
of how they changed it into Storming Tap. Like, you don't want to, like, yeah, but you've removed all this chain pressure. Yeah, but it's not fair across all platforms, though, is it? Like, Xbox and PlayStation, they're not going to be able to disable the tap stunning at all because they can alter their graphics. Yet PC can turn the resolution all the way up and disable anti-aliasing entirely, and the flash is gone. Even though that flash was gone, I don't remember hearing people complain that, oh, my chain pressure is away now because
Hmm.
he's changed his graphics. I can tell my chain pressure is gone. I know for a fact he's disabled the stun thing. People just like to complain. The
Well,
hero's still good. The hero's still way better than a lot of other heroes in the cast.
that's
He's just
true.
not a mandatory pick anymore. He's an optional pick and a good pick, but he's not mandatory.
Right, because and I think that something to keep on with the stun getting taken away, the stamina drain got taken away, the damage was also taken down on top of that. So I get why people are kind of upset. There was a lot of shit that happened with Raider this last patch, so I think it was a big surprise to a lot of people. Not only was it the stunning tap that got changed to storming tap, you lose the stun, lose the stamina drain, the damage numbers needed to come down. I have
Oh,
no problem with
100%.
that at all whatsoever. I would like to. I can tell you this. I'm torn on Storming Tap. And I don't remember if I directly gave feedback to the development team while we were there. I can't remember. I know we talked about it. I know they explained what the change was going to be. And I know my initial reaction. I was sitting next to Scorebrand and I looked him in the eyes like, what? He's like, well, no, I still got the. He's like, oh, it still has this, and they're like, no, that's going away too. Like, wait a minute, that seems a little harsh. That was my initial reaction, and I was like, but I'm gonna try and reserve judgment until I see it. But I don't know if I ever gave direct feedback. But of course, over time, we have the right to change our opinions, and over as we have more opportunity to see how it affects us firsthand. So with being able to see playing Raider during the live stream, playing Raider since then on live with that change going out, I I don't think that it's like you said. I agree with you. I don't think it's going to be the end all be all of Raider. It is going to make the pressure a little less,
Hmm.
because you're not going to be able to completely drain stamina right away if you get them up against the wall when they're half stam
Yeah.
or something. You're not going to be able to just drain almost everything. You're also not going to be able to um, utilize that stun to confirm some kind of a gank or something because the person just can't react to what's going on. But the players at the highest level of play, they're going to be on. Most of them are probably going to be on PC. Not all of
Hmm.
them, but the majority of them, I believe, are probably going to be on PC. And those PC players were already adjusting, settings to get rid of that, right? So they're probably going to not have a huge impact on that.
Yeah, exactly. And plus, at that level, the tap wasn't even used overly large amounts. Like Raider is literally only in fours in terms of high level play. Is what for one mid control. He's got a very, 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 very quick mid clear. He can rotate and help gank very fast, and then go back to mid and continue clearing if you don't have a lawbringer on your team. You don't see a bloody Raider in competitive games constantly doing heavy stun, heavy stun, heavy stun tap, any stun tap, or sorry, heavy storming tap, heavy storming tap, heavy storming tap. It's just not how the hero was played at that level. And that's the only level in which a change like that is going to affect the hero. In general population, Raider's not going to really change at all.
Oh
He's
no,
not going to change in any way. Like mid MM, very low level MM, where Orochi and Aramushi are still able to be played. The only level in which tweaks like that are going to affect the gameplay is in the top level of matchmaking.
I just wanted to say that Orochi's S tier, and fuck anybody who thinks otherwise.
No, 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 fuck you. Yorm, S tier ganker, top
Okay,
tier in Jules.
no bullshit. Okay,
Bro,
no bullshit.
no,
All
no.
right, all joking aside,
I'll
wait,
get Raven Gaming on here right now.
hang on a
I'm telling
second.
you.
Hang on a second. I have this. It was. I don't think it's in this clip that I have on the stream. And just for full disclosure, the reason I have this clip on the stream, guys, is because I'm streaming in the For Honor directory. This is a free tip for anybody who wants to stream on Twitch or does stream on Twitch. If you do anything other than the game in that directory, they can pull your stream down. Full disclosure, the only reason I have this footage on here is so they don't pull my stream down. I can say, look, it's right here. It's right here, Twitch. By the way, the dev team doesn't complain, so I don't know why you're complaining.
I've just noticed it's kind of like the just chatting section. The cameras are larger than
Exactly,
the gameplay.
that's the thing. That's what they would want. They would want this in the just chatting section, but there's the gameplay, okay? It's right there. It's right there. I'm sorry, it's over here. It's over this direction. So, anyway. But seriously though, here's the thing. If the fuck was I talking about? I was
Raider
Yorm. Okay,
changes,
right, Yorm,
the
Yorm. Okay,
thing, yeah.
yes, Yorm. Okay, I think it was Tuesday. I shit you not. I should have clipped it. I think I have a marker on the stream. I haven't gone back and clipped it yet. I was fighting somebody in duels. I warm up in duels. Everybody knows this. I warm up in duels for like the first hour or so. Then we start going into fours, and I start playing with viewers. Here's the thing, or with the audience. I prefer the term audience. Because when I say the word viewers, it seems like I'm thinking of you guys as a number, and I don't. I appreciate all of you. So when we're in duels, I played my main. I played Yorm. That's right, guys. I'm a Yorm main, and I was fighting this guy. I think I was fighting against his Raider, and I mean I was parrying his fucking storming taps like it was nothing. It was fun. It was fun. But no, I guess it was pre-patch, right? Yeah, it was pre-patch. It was before, okay, I'm sorry. Stunning tap. I was parrying the tap Either way, same speed, doesn't matter. Semantics. I was pairing him like it was nothing. I don't know how it was. I don't know how. I don't know why I was on point though. Here's what happened. He beat me on his Raider. No problem. It was close. Here's the point though. Next game he played, I think Nusha. She played Nusha or Orochi. I think it was Orochi, and they had a weird play style, and I was having trouble kind of going up against it. I did win. It was close, and they said almost won against an overpowered hero. And I'm like, wait, what? I'm sorry. No, I think it was on. I think they were on Kinsei. As a matter of fact, doesn't matter what they were on though. I said, wait, what do you mean? Yorm OP? Question mark. You're like, yeah, he's completely OP. He's ridiculous. He's way too strong. I'm like, are you fucking serious? Chad, is this motherfucker serious? I'm like, actually, he's kind of weak, and I'm like, all right, bro, if that's I'm out. I gotta go. I have to leave. Like, I can't.
There's no reasoning with a man like that.
It's like, okay, boomer.
Such a Zimmer thing to say. Oh god, yeah, no, you can't reason with people like that. I see that so much. Like even still today, I get people coming into my chat. If I play a random game with
They were good, by the way. They were a really good player. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. They were a good player, by the way. They were very good. That's why I was so fucking surprised. Please continue.
No, the same thing happens to me. People come into the chat and you're playing against someone. Like this happens in force. Like it happened. It was today. Was it today or was it? It was yesterday. We were playing a game against this random squad, and we were in. I'm pretty sure it was Breach, right? I was playing the new hero Sunday, hanging out with him, and we're playing. No, we're playing a Dominion. Sorry, and this is a game. This guy is total rep 200 and something, right? He's playing on his Raider. He's reputation 18, and at the end of the match, he types spammers, right? Spammers. And I'm like, question mark, and it's like, yeah, all you're doing is spamming your lights and shit. And I'm just thinking to myself, how the fuck can you have so much goddamn time in this game and still have the audacity to say shit like light spam, guard break spam, or any kind of spam, bro? What do you mean? Like, I don't see that. That's it's not a matter of them not being able to counter it. It's an unwillingness to learn. No, an unwillingness to accept your flaws in terms of it. And I see that so much in this game, so goddamn much. People refuse to accept information that they're provided with. And that shit irritates the balls out of me.
Freeze.
So many people are like, yo, this guy's OP, change him. You're like, you know what? Maybe he doesn't need to be changed. Maybe what you need to do is improve yourself. Like the amount of people that but for a good while there were saying Hito was OP. Yeah, the hyper armor was a bastard. Before
but you
this
could
patch,
beat it.
You could beat it, exactly, yeah. I didn't have a lot of issues playing against Hitos that literally did the heavy on red. It's not broken. Adjust yourself and fucking play against it. Instead of baby raging in the fucking in-game chat, grow the fuck up and get better rather than crying. It's so many people still do it, and I'm so surprised by it. I'm so surprised that I still find people in game like that. So surprised. Ridiculous.
So I was gonna say something. Oh right, no, like with Reddit and with the whole Reddit freeze post. My goodness gracious. Where I mean, so there was somebody who had the audacity to be like, freeze.
You just, nobody cares about this information and this and that and blah blah blah, and nobody likes you and fuck your mother and whatever else the guy said. Just,
I read like the first paragraph and I'm like, all right, okay, boomer. I'm done. I'm probably not. I don't, that phrase, by the way, is not in my vocabulary, that okay, boomer shit. I think it's funny.
Engraved in my head.
It's fucking funny as shit right now, though.
It's great. I've got a clip of little Mike saying that on the Warriors thing. It's fucking amazing. It's like, the boomer, kids, the boomer. It's so good. It's so good. I'm turning that shit at the end notifications.
Is it your follow? I was gonna say, was that your follower?
Oh hell yeah! I'm gonna turn that shit into it.
I still need to make that follow alert that I talked about, where you were doing the
Oh shit!
shoutcasting for that
Yes,
salty tournament, the Salty Dreams
yes, yes,
tournament.
yes, yes, yes.
It's been over a year, I think, now, guys. The Salty Dreams did the casual 2v2 tournament, and Daddy Law was doing the shoutcasting for it, and it's just like, yeah, Shaman's eating the heavy, and blah blah blah. Shaman like was down to like under critical health in less than 5 seconds. Like, Shaman's eating a dick right now, and I'm like, what? That's gonna be my notification, because I was the one that put their damage into. Actually, but technically my teammate put them into critical, but I was the one that was giving them a lot of damage too, so I helped. That was fucking hilarious though. All the commentary, man. You're a fucking one-man wrecking squad when it comes to in-game and out-of-game, my man. You're the
I'm a
dude, like,
wordsmith, man. All you gotta do is you gotta go with the flow. Gotta go with the flow. You never stop.
you do.
You stop when you can't.
There's a reason you're the number one streamer of For Honor here on Twitch. There's a reason for that. So, in case anybody didn't know, this man is hilarious. This man is hilarious. He's funny and hilarious. It's hilarious. Oh, it's fantastic. So, yeah, no. So yeah, the Yormo P thing, the freeze thing. Like, there's some people just don't want to take information that's given to them. So I get it, you know. So yeah.
It's kind of the whole fact of, do you want to admit your own shortcomings or get better? And what are people more likely to do? Easy peasy.
Yeah, it's sometimes you just gotta accept what you're being given, and you know. But I mean, I understand. Like, some people just want to play. I understand. I do get that. Anywho, we talked about that before. So going on. Hang on, I'm trying to type here and talk at the same time. We're talking about from the. All right. So, where was I at? All right, so Hitokiri then. So Hitokiri had a nerf. The hyper armor on Hebis is instead of like 100 or 300 or whatever, it's now 500 ms. So 500 ms. Now, here's the first question that I had with this, and this is something that I don't think I gave any feedback to the dev team on. I really don't think I said anything about this. So I can say, like, my initial thought when I heard that was, well, Yorm's 400. Yorm's is 400. Hito's 5. Yorm 4. 5. 4. I didn't understand that, but I didn't say, no, I didn't. I heard it, that I thought it. I didn't say anything about it because my thought process was, I'm sure that there's a reason for that. I know that in development they've been talking about trying different timings on hyper armors in the past. I'm like, I'm gonna leave that alone. That's a decision that they're making to go with and see how it works out. And that, you know, we'll see how it works out. We will. That said, there are a few Hito mains that are out there right now. I think Scorebrand at one point was considered a Hito main. We've got Nikki Duh, who is a Hito main. We have, I can't really think of anybody else who's a Hitokiri main. I know that I think Kelsey likes Hito and plays it from time to time, but I don't really see a lot of Hito play, at least not in the content creation world. I don't see a lot of Hitokiris. My only issue with Hito, it was never the hyper armor. I'll put it like this: it was never the hyper armor. It's the kick sweep mix up, and the reason for that, and I'll say this again, I said something to this effect on episode 10. I have, once they've set it to where it's like a 33, 33, 33, you can hold that sweep for a very, very long time. So it's really difficult to read what's really going to happen. So the kick, you either have to dodge right away and hope they don't guard break you, because you have to make the read. Basically, you have to make the read. You stand still and you get hit with a heavy. If you get kicked, or you dodge because you read that they're going to let it go, and you either get guard break or you get swept. because
Mhm.
it's even dodging at the earliest that you possibly can is like reacting to what's being seen. I don't think you can avoid the sweep at that point because it's once you I mean one basically once they commit to holding it, like you're basically screwed. You're gonna get guard broken or you're gonna get swept. So that's my only concern with that hero is, and I think I would like to see it dialed back a little bit, just because
Mhm.
it's not just it's not a 50-50. You have the three options, and if you make the wrong read on the first option, you have no way of countering the second or third. Like if it's a feint to guard break and I dodged, you know what? I deserve to get that. But I should
I think that's kind of a good thing, though. Like I think that's a really good thing because that means the sort of play that you have to take against a Hito is literally it's entirely read based. I understand what you're saying with they can hold it for so long. As
right.
soon as you do react, they can react to it. But once you're in a Hito's head, like with a lot of Hitos that I go against, they never commit to the kick right away.
Hmm.
Very rare do they commit to the kick right away. They'll always feint it at the point where he's more or less getting down, absorbing enough air so he can let it a queef or something. He's spreading his legs. He's set to go. And the hyper armor starts to kick in for the actual leg sweep itself. And that's the point where I'll always make the actual reaction to the animation. I always dodge the kick on read, not on reaction to the kick itself. On read, if I think he's gonna go for it, I'll dodge and I'll instantly cue either a guard break or a shove his lawbringer. But I like that kind of gameplay because it's extremely punishing. And I like the whole idea of you're either going to be right or you're going to be fucking wrong. And you're going to be dead wrong, especially against Hito, which is really good. And I like that idea because it's actually incentivizing you to get used to how your opponent's playing, how he's mixing everything up, get into his mindset. But rather than you being in his head, mix up what he's doing and put him in your head.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck with it. You know? Go back
And
and forth.
I do like I said before, I do like that it forces a read. It I just to me, I feel like there's almost it's almost I don't know. I guess that I guess what I have a problem with is that mm,
They can feint it very, very late. That I
yeah,
agree with. Like
that's what I think
the
is my
late they
main
can feint
issue.
it is pretty crazy. Yeah.
I think what I would be more comfortable with is that it is a you either you feint the kick and you get the guard break, or you don't feint it and you have to sweep. I think
Hmm.
that's my major issue with it is that you kind of still have the option, right?
Yeah.
That's what I would like to that's my own personal issue with it is that you can hold that kick for so long. You can hold the sweep for so long and there's no way you can kind of react to it. And I mean, not and like I said, I'm all for more read based gameplay, but at that point, if you're holding that for that long and your recovery, so maybe my real issue because they've been cutting recovery times, maybe my real issue is the recovery off of dodge
Hmm.
because if I see that they've made a mistake and they didn't guard break me, I don't know, man. I don't know where I'm going with this point. I feel like I'm in the wrong, but I'm in the right. Um, I prefer reads. I've said this for the longest time. I've said this to the dev team. I prefer reads. I prefer read based gameplay. That's where all of these changes that they've been making is leading more towards read based gameplay.
Hmm.
And I think that a lot of the players that have been here since the very beginning are going to agree we're moving in the right direction, we're moving in a good one, right? So we'll see what happens in the future. We'll see if there's any changes that comes to the Hitos mix up. But at this point, now that they took away the hyper armor, that's pretty much all she's got to really kind of
Yeah.
mix people up. So I guess I
Hmm.
can't really complain about it. Um, so there, but
Mm.
here's the exception. There is one hero, and maybe there's more than one, but there's one hero I know for sure that can stop that mix up. And I'm going to tell you, and this is why Jormungandr's OP. Yorm can do a neutral grab on a reading a feinted kick. If they're feinting their kick, you can grab them from a neutral grab every single time. If they kick you, you can't stop it. if you do it well, if you do it with anticipation, you might be able to grab them and like you might be able to bounce off each other maybe or something. But you can't grab them if they commit to the kick. It doesn't work. It comes out really quick too. I mean,
Mm.
compared to with the two of them. So if you, at least it seems to come out really quickly. Every time I
Yeah.
know it's what is it? I think it's either 500 or 600 ms. I think
I
her
think
kick
it's
is.
I think it's 600.
I think it is too. But it just seems. I guess it's the animation. It just really seems like it comes out really quick.
Yeah.
But 600 ms is really, it's pretty slow, all things considered. So, and we'll get to the Zhanhu and we'll talk about that too, here in a little bit. So yeah, but if you read that she's fainting it, you can get a neutral grab and you stop her in her tracks.
Mhm.
So, I mean, if they keep fainting their kicks, you can keep grabbing them until you know, all right, they're probably going to go ahead and commit to it at this point. I gotta dodge or, and hope that they can't get me with anything else.
Yeah.
So,
I think the main issue with that mix-up is that it's not that it requires a read to beat. It's the fact of how large that read needs to be.
mhm.
Like that faint window is so big that you need to make such a big read to avoid it entirely. It's totally worth making that read, but how often are you going to be able to make that read? Like whenever I'm against a really good Hito carry and he's able to like faint that through that massive variable timing that he has. Like I don't know how large that window is. It's like a full second in which he can faint that at any point from 100 milliseconds all the way to 1000 milliseconds or some shit like that. That window is huge, and because that window is so huge and he can faint anytime during that, that's what makes it so hard to react to, or like I wouldn't say react to, but make a read on, which is nuts. Again, I'm kind of okay with that, but at the same time, I can see why that's not liked. But that's why I'm going to sort of branch that into Sunday, because Sunday has a really cool thing about all of his attacks. There's no one single dodge timing to avoid everything he has. And that's, if they were able to implement something like that into that mix up, that would make it much better.
Yes, I'm trying to read and listen at the same time, and I'm really bad at that. And I remembered something I had started to say earlier. You said that you had played a lot of heroes that got reworked and you got lucky. You mentioned Highlander, Shugo,
Highlander should
Lawbringer.
go Raider, Lawbringer, JJ.
Yeah, and you were like what 5-1, I think you said on that or something. Um, you said 5-1. I was like, I didn't know which one. Which one was the one?
Which one was the one? Technically JJ, because his was a nerf, but
Uh
it didn't really affect him too bad. You know, it
okay.
did the Sifu distance, the damage reduction, and such.
I got you. Okay, so with that in mind, I started to say this too. Like I was a Berserker main from the very beginning. Once they released Berserker, I'm like, this is my jam. But the thing is, back then too, you could also, if a raider threw out an attack, all you had to do was light him. You just light him and you stop him in his tracks because the
Mhm.
timings were different back then. So that's why I liked it. Is like you had your defense is your offense. So if you reacted fast enough, you can stop that, and that's one of the things that I really liked about Berserker. So I mean, they changed it. They changed it along the way. It wasn't the same later on, but still, I loved Zerker because of the mix up potential, the ability to run these infinite chains and whatnot. I like the deflex. I had a really good and with Zerker, a lot of Zerker early Zerks were just making sure that you can force your opponent into a feint, so that you or um so you can get like a parry and a guard break back when you could do that, or getting deflects so you could get a guard break and wall splat them so you can get that big 59 top heavy, which was sexy as hell. So that was a good time. His regular attacks weren't that big, but you get that big that big top heavy. Felt good. Every the heavy the bush, the deflect. Um, so there were I played Zerk. Zerk got reworked in season 5. So did Shugo. Shugo was my secondary main, way back then. So I had similar luck. Same thing with Highlander, and then Raider was a character I always wanted to play. I always loved the fact that he had dodge GB. I loved it.
Mhm.
Didn't play him that much, thought him, and still to this day, I still think that Warlord and Raider are two of the best looking heroes in the entire roster from day one until today. I maintain that those two are the best two looking. Now, maybe you guys disagree with me. I know laws, so there's some Lawbringer fashion is pretty on point as well, but overall, my personal, yeah, I like those two. Number one, Raider number one. So but the Hitokiri having the 33 33 33, ever since it's gotten, because I think they made some small tweaks to it after it came out to make it more viable. I think, I don't remember. I'm tired now. So, but I know that that's something I just have that issue with, is that you can faint it way too late. So you're basically you're guaranteed to. Well, I can see both sides of that. I don't want to hammer this in too hard, but stick with me on this, guys. I think you're going to appreciate this. So with Highlander, I'm going to compare it with Highlander. With Highlander, if you throw out a kick and somebody dodges your kick, you have something built into your kit to grab them. So it effectively becomes a 50-50. With the Hito, you kind of have a 33, 33, 33, but at the same time, not really. Because
I wouldn't say the Highlander kicking to grab is effectively a 50-50.
Well, yeah, I agree with. I agree. You're right. You're right.
Sort of thing.
You're right. You're right. You're right. But for the sake of argument, follow along. Stick with me on this one.
Okay.
I appreciate you correcting me. I do. You're right. I don't really consider it a 50-50 either. But I mean, in the sense of adjusting to the mechanic, you're reading that they're gonna throw the kick. You dodge the kick. They go for the grab instead. You've dodged because you're dodging the kick. You dodged in the wrong timing. So you are going to get grabbed. So yeah, it's not technically a 50-50, because if you dodge at the right timing, you can avoid both of them. It's a very small window. But I think for a lot of people, it's a little closer to the former. I don't know what I've said now. But ultimately, the Hitokiri is not unlike that, in the sense that if you try to dodge the kick, if you read that they're going to throw the kick, you dodge the kick, they feint the kick, you're going to get guard broken or you're going to get swept. So it effectively, in a way, it's one or... I guess I shouldn't use the term 50-50, but you're getting one action or another action. So she has something built into her kit, so that if you dodge and you make the wrong read, you're going to get something in return. But
100%.
It's going to be a guard break or a sweep. And that's where I think that in some ways it's kind of redundant, but not really. I don't know. I guess the sweep, in some ways, is good for her, because in fours, it makes it, if she has a lot of people around her, you can sweep a couple people and maybe get a little bit of a gank off of it. So there is that, I suppose. So I guess I can't complain about it. The more I, saying it out loud, the more I think about it, the more thought I put into it. It's a lot more fine than what I think it is. But that's, like I said, this has been my own personal qualms. That's my only issue that I've ever really had with her, is that particular mix-up, for the reasons that I've stated. But not necessarily that I've never said it's broken. Maybe I said it was broken. I don't think I've ever said it was broken, but that's been my issue. So moving on. We talked about Storming Tap. We talked about Hitokiri. The hyper armor getting taken away. So that's a huge change for her. So anybody who was, throwing heavy on red, or just throwing out a lot of heavies, yeah.
I've seen a lot less Hitos since that patch, solely because of the hyper armor. I haven't seen anybody talking about Hito today or the past 2 days ever since the patch came out, but I've seen very little Hitokiris now. Very, very little Hitokiris over the past 2 days. I think I've probably seen a maximum of maybe 5 over the past 2 days.
Come to think of it, I think I've seen, hell, I don't know if I've seen any, maybe one.
They've migrated. I don't know where the fuck they migrated to, but they're gone.
They went south for the winter. You know what?
I don't know what it is. They've all transitioned over to Raider. Then they realized he's got Storming Tap now, so they probably fucked off to BP. They don't know where to go.
They don't know where to go. Like,
what hero is the one that's overpowered right now? You know what? I think we're going to go with Zhanhu. You want to know why Zhanhu? Because Zhanhu has unblockable lights. Now, they may be 600 milliseconds, but they're still unblockable. So we're going to use it anyway because we think that it's strong.
I think that's probably where they went. You don't want to know why? Because
Probably.
everybody and their mother's brother's uncle daddy is playing Zhanhu right now. I shit you not. Almost every
that hero
game
is
is
so fun.
3 to 4 Zhanhus, and that's on one team. That's on
Dude, it's
one
great.
team.
My team today was literally for the Sunday heroes, for the brand new guy, for like 4 hours straight. And that shit was fucking entertainment quality. I loved it. It was so good. The hero, he's so fun.
He
He's
is.
so fun.
He
He's
really
I,
is.
I'm having a blast with him. I'm already what, maybe five levels away from Reputation 4 already.
Goodness gracious. So how many 24-hour streams did that take you? You had to think about it, guys. It's been at least 30. So
yeah, probably 31's coming up on the 24th. Got that shit planned.
Goodness gracious. So wait, when is this again now?
The 24th.
The
Doing a 24-hour stream for the double
24th.
XP.
So 24th, 24-hour stream, double XP. Be
24
there.
hour on the 24th double time.
Daddy Law. Daddy_Law_69. Twitch.tv. You got to be there or be square. By the way, is that a Division hoodie that you got on right now? Is that Division?
Yes, maybe.
My man. I like that. I like that a lot. I dig it.
Got it from a car package that was sent out. It's kind of nice.
Oh, that's
It's
awesome.
comfy.
That's
Very
awesome.
comfy.
It looks comfy. Lady Guys is really big into the Division. She loves the Division. She has played the Division 2 a little bit, and Division 2 was too strong for her computer, so we ended up getting her squared away so she could actually play. And she's played a little bit more since then, and she enjoys the hell out of it. And the more I see people post about it, I'm like, damn, I need to get that. And I think it was on sale recently at like $20, I think it was $20 at some point recently, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm thinking of Siege. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure there was a weekend sale like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I think it was 20 something. It was 20 something, I think. I think it was and I'm like, dude, I should probably pick that up and see if I can drag Lady Guys into a squad or something with me, see if we can platoon up and do some shit, because it looks awesome, man. It really does. And I'm not a Destiny fan, before anyone starts throwing that out there. I'm not a Destiny fan. I never really have been. I played Destiny 2 with a friend of mine that I know in real life, and he drugged me into it. And I'm like, man, I'm kind of having a good time because I'm playing with you, but I gotta tell you, I also hate my life right now. I just not a big fan, but I know there's a lot of guys out there that like it.
Dark hole, a very dark hole. I can't get back into them. I played Destiny for a while.
Yeah.
I played the Division 2 for like 50 hours, and I just stopped. It's
No?
the same thing. Shit lit. Level the world up. Shit lit. Rinse and repeat. It's the same thing. I'm not a fan of them. I can't get into them anymore.
Looter shooters, man. Am I right?
Mm.
I mean, we can talk about the king of all looter shooters. God, I hate doing this. I hate this. It hurts my soul. If I had one, Daddy Law stole it.
Pun?
Huh?
Did I? What happened? What's going on?
I was gonna make a mention of Anthem, and I know someone out there. I know there's a lot of people are gonna flame me for that, but I had a lot of fun with the game, man. Despite the little bugs and quirks and shit that it had, I still had fun with it. I very much enjoyed it, and I saw recently. I still pay attention to, like, the fashion in that game is on point. It's so good.
It is kind of cool. The customization is nice.
Oh god,
I
it
played
looks so great.
a couple hours over it, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it was. I played several, and I was involved in the, I think, pre-alpha. Yeah, it was pre-alpha, alpha, beta, whatever. And then I was like, I'm gonna get it. I have to get it, and I threw my full support behind it. Told people it's worth it. It's worth giving a shot. And then they had some problems. It was kind of sad. I still played it, still had fun with it, but yeah, I mean, there's still they still have a very dedicated fan base. It's like kind of like a cult following kind of thing. I haven't looked at their population, but I know that there's still there are still plenty of people that actually that pick it up and run with it.
We've really gotten off topic. Holy shit!
I know. This is one of
Holy
those.
God.
This is one of those things where okay, I'm like I said, this is gonna be these are the casual moments that we get to have when we have um just like
It's fucking good. I like it.
one or two people on. It's a little bit more of a casual moment. So every once in a while we get to go off topic, just chill and chat about whatever the hell we feel is something to talk about, and then we can move on to our to new and bigger and brighter things in For Honor. So which is what we're doing. So I want to say this, like Zhanhu, absolutely, fun hero. But to come back to like the patch notes, there's been a lot of they fixed the feat stacking, so now you're only going to get a buff or a debuff, like morale boost, battle cry, and scout. They're not going to stack anymore. They only take the highest percentage. It wasn't very clear in the patches. There was 2 lines for it. It was I'm trying to find it here to read them to you guys, but basically it said it'll take the highest percentage, but then it also said something about it won't. There it is. Buffs and debuff stacking. Buffs and debuffs will always use the highest and strongest value. This rule applies to everything independently of its origin. In parentheses, feats, perks, game mode boost, etc. And second line, separate line. Buffs and debuff bonuses will stack, and the value chosen will be the resulting addition of the values. Which sounds contradictory in some ways, but the way I understand it is that they're no longer supposed to stack. You're only supposed to get one of one or the two. You're not supposed to get both. That's the way I understand it. I think I need to. I think I should probably ask for clarification. I know. I think Freeze. I think Freeze might have put a video out about this, and he extrapolated that they don't stack. I imagine he might have done some testing on it. I'm sorry if that's not. I'm pretty sure it was Freeze's video that I watched. It could have been somebody else's. Pretty sure it was Freeze. Could have been Freeze. I'm gonna go with Freeze. I love Freeze. We all love Freeze. I want a Freeze sickle right now. So
A free sickle?
a Freeze sickle. It sounds amazing.
We
right?
get him in here and we could have a free sandwich.
Dude. We are never getting invited back to Montreal. I just want you to know that right now, and I'm gonna blame it on you. They're gonna take
Bro,
my.
I got photos of me and Big Mike and Little Mike. They haven't bring me back. I got blackmail.
They're gonna take my pen
That's
away.
a joke, by the way, if anyone's watching. I'm joking. Oh God.
You're getting awfully red, Daddy. You're getting awfully red. You have the same problem. I think you have the same problem I do. My cheeks and everything like get very flushed because when I smile, because because I naturally just have the resting bitch face. I think, which is partly why
we're redheads in general.
You can see that
we're very expressive, especially in color.
You can see that in like a lot of my pictures. I was just kind of like looking at the camera. Like one person said I looked stoned. I think, that someone said I looked stoned. Is like, yeah, you were in Canada. You look stoned out of your mind. No wonder you had a good time. I'm like, nah, dude, it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. It wasn't like a when in Rome, do as the Romans do kind of thing. It was definitely just me being an idiot and not knowing how to smile, apparently. Because anyway, all right, so we talked about feats. The stacking, there was another direction I was going to go with this. There's one other thing I wanted to touch on with the buffs. Oh, the recovery timings have been slashed. There's been some adjustments on some other heroes, like Orochi's running a little bit faster now. Warlord got some hit recovery buffs. A lot of really good things happened in this.
Shaman had a good change.
Shaman had some stuff.
Soft feints are now quicker. They used to be 500 milliseconds. They're now 466.
Yeah, they're
not so fast that they're unreactable now, but they're better.
Forward movement on heavy starters are up a little bit, and Raven's Bile forward movement is up double. Its forward movement doubled, so that's going to be really good. The range of the Wildcat Swiftness went up a little bit, and zone attacks, third and fourth hits are now considered heavy, which were previously considered light, and that's a really big deal for Shaman. So Shaman got buffed, got some really good buffs. I agree with you. So Shaman does Shaman's she's kind of part of the meta. I don't know if that's what comp players consider her as, but she's kind of part of the meta, in a way, because she's got the good ganks. So her getting buffed is going to be really good for that. Yorm got a nerf. And
What you can nerf something lower than a corpse?
the punch,
Poor guy.
the light openers recoveries that branch to the punch is 66 milliseconds longer now.
That's right. That changes exactly the same with BP now as well. So whenever you go for the dodge, it doesn't matter if you switch your guard during the dodge. Regardless, you're going to be able to dodge on a reaction. So that's actually that's fucked Yorm big time.
That is
Big
actually a
time.
good that's a very very
Yeah.
good change, even coming from a Yorm main. I know that
Mhm.
going against Yorms sometimes that could be an issue if you switch your guard and you get stuck with getting smacked in the face. That wasn't fun.
Oh
um
hell yeah! It's going to
so
affect BP mains as well, big time. In the exact same manner as Yorm. I like that personally because I always change my guard whenever I dodge, regardless.
Me
Like
too.
I've noticed right away, like I'm having a much easier time dodging BPs, and they're actually bashing a lot less. I don't know if because they've noticed the change yet, but I've noticed the play style changing up a little bit. Like it's a little bit more passive
I
in
think
terms of bash heavy heroes.
I like that with Glad and Glad Zone. um it's kind of the same thing. Like if you dodge Glad Zone with the right timing, you can turn your block and actually block that attack.
Hmm.
I think there's some heroes that have trouble doing this. I think there are some heroes that have trouble doing this, and maybe it's just my inconsistencies with like blocks and stuff. I can consistently do it on Zerker, and I can't always consistently do it with other certain heroes. I don't know. Like I said, maybe it's just anyway. I'm not the mechanics guy, so I'm not trying not to go specifically too far into that. So moving along, lots of really good changes this patch. Um, But I would like to see that. I would like to be able to also like to be able to like changing guard through your dodge. I always think that that's something that should. I think you should always be able to do that, and I don't think that it should really. I don't think that it should hurt you. I because think about it. I mean, I know that this is kind of a. This is not a realistic. In like this is not an actual true to life thing.
Hmm.
A game.
It's a fantasy, more or
It's a
less.
fantasy, right? So, but I believe that there's no reason why you can't why you wouldn't be able to change your guard while you're dodging or while you're shuffling your feet. You know what I'm saying?
It
Um,
always sounded kind of stupid to me whenever I always heard that explained. Like if you switch your guard as dodging, it's like, oh no, I can't get out of the way of this weapon. Like, my hands and my feet are two completely different appendages. Why are they stopping each other?
mhm.
Never made sense to me.
So moving forward, we need to talk about Zhanhu. Zhanhu. I'm gonna completely butcher the name several times, but reintroduction. I've not done this in a long time. I'm your host Norgoz, the host of the weekly Warcry podcast, and we are joined by the daddiest of laws himself, Daddy Law. Welcome again, man. Thank you so much for being here. Really, really happy to have you with us.
Love you.
I got it. Thank you. You're such a daddy. All right. Moving on to Zhanhu, which is probably one of the most well-received heroes of the entire year.
Mhm.
I know a lot of people were banking on Yorm. I was banking on Yorm. I
As was I.
still love Yorm. He's very fun to play. I know some people they're not going to agree with that, but he's simple in a lot of ways, but he is also effective with the right play style. But as far as no, I have no delusions of grandeur here. He's not going to be he's not going to compare to some heroes like like a Raider for example. He doesn't have his as much gank potential because you have to be out of stam to get the hammer slam. Now, if you can get the hammer slam, you can build a team around that, and you can do something with it. I mean, we've seen Yorman comp before, and that team went all the way to the final game of losers bracket with a Yorm in their comp, and that was fully intentional. They weren't memeing about it. For those of you looking for it, that was Psy B. I think it was Ubu Gang. Was the team
Was it
name
the NA or was that the EU tournament?
NA?
I think it was the NA.
This was
NA,
NA.
yeah, that's what.
Yeah, there weren't as many teams in NA as there were in EU. EU was flooded with like 1,000 people. But
Mhm.
still, they had to go through several teams to get to the finals of losers bracket, and the entire time they were going through Yorm. And the only reason that they switched was because there was like a sub or there was something I can't remember. We went over this in episode 10. And the reason I keep going over, I keep reflecting back to like episode 10 is one of the episodes I clearly remember better than all the others, guys, is because I've been listening to it the last couple of days to kind of bring myself back into the world of podcasting. And I think that was one of the best episodes we've done. There was a lot of humor in it. There was a lot of really good information, and bringing those two things together is really important for both the keeping people awake, keeping people interested, and keeping people informed. So I'm very proud of that one. We had Light Boogie and Tree Jack on for that, but yeah, it was interesting to see Orman comp and the way that they utilized it, and mainly I think a lot of times he was the defender. He would defend a point, and he would side B would just focus on defending, doing what a heavy does best, racking up the points on the point. No puns, just hammer slams. It was kind of interesting. So, Zhanhu has been very well received. Very, very, very well received. Now, I gotta say this though. I mean, we had a chance to play him a little bit before he's live. They're live now. I don't think they've changed much. I don't think they've changed much, if anything, since the earlier builds.
I don't think they did change anything.
I don't think they did either. But the one thing I know people are going to have some concerns about are the lights having 600 milliseconds. The finishers, the openers are 500, which are still, it's that's a decent amount, I guess, for an opener. Then you've got the finisher, which is 600 ms. Now it's unblockable, so I can see why the team thought, well, we need to slow it down a little bit. I get it. I understand it. It makes sense. That said, as the higher level players, they're gonna be able to parry that, and the people in chat during the live stream were saying that someone was like, "Oh my god, like the lights are unblockable. This is bullshit. This is so power. It's ridiculous." And then there were people that didn't let that gain traction. They're like, "Hey, look, you can parry it. It's slow. It's not super fast."
If anything, it makes the light easier to parry because you see unblockable, and if you make the correct read, that's an easy parry instantly. It's like unblockable, orange, heavy, boom, parry, done.
There are similar for like the top attacks, like top light and top heavy, or maybe it's the dash light and top heavy. But either way, they're very similar. The startups for them both are similar. So if you're trying to parry those openers, sometimes that'll get me. I'll try to parry on a light timing, and I make a bad read, and they're throwing the unblockable. I'm like, oh, I've already committed.
Mm-hmm.
So the startups kind of look similar to me, but I don't know where I was going with that. Anyway, so he's got unblockables on both his finishers. He's got dodge attacks. The interesting thing about his dodge attacks is that you've got a light and a heavy. The side you go left, you hit light, it comes out one direction. Go left, hit heavy, it goes another direction. Same thing going right.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that's interesting about the hero to me. I really like that, but I think they're both 400 ms.
They're both 400.
The frame check from Freeze was saying 400 ms, but they're heavily telegraphed and they don't feel like they're 400 milliseconds.
The window in which you can delay it is very small, and it's really weird. It's like late. It's not late. It's like kind of early into the dodge, but not like at the very beginning. So you got to time it really funkily. Otherwise, it's so telegraphed that you just have to stand there and wait for an indicator, then switch your guard and parry. It's really not a very hard thing to react to if you're expecting it. It's extensively easy to react to, actually. Like if someone was sitting in front of me right now and I was playing, if they were just going side to side, it's just like JJ, realistically. They dodge rather than just watching the heavy and waiting for the guard to switch to the left side and instantly heavy attack. You just wait and you either block or you parry. It's very simple. Personally, I feel like they should have a soft feint in there with the dodge heavy rather than it being 400 milliseconds. It should probably have a soft feint on it. Make it maybe 500 or 600 millisecond dodge heavy, soft feint it into the same direction as the dodge light input, sort of thing. That way it's got like sort of a double mind game in there, I guess. Kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah, in a way, because I know if I dodge one direction and I use a light, then I dodge in another direction and I use a light. I've effectively screwed myself because immediately that person is expecting it to come out the same direction as I guess. So you have on a one, you have direction one and direction two when it comes out of.
Hmm.
I know this is going to be a little weird here, but you have one and two A and B sides that'll come out. If you do a light, it's going to come out on the light side, and if you go the other direction, it's going to come out on the light side, which is going to be um, the opposite direction. I think it's going to be a direct mirror of what it was before. But if you do a heavy, you're going to come out on the same side as you did before.
Hmm.
And that's where you can mix up some people sometimes. And I found that if I do a light on one side, this is what I was trying to go for before I almost confused everybody. If you do a light dodge on one side and you do a light dodge on the other side, you've effectively set the mindset for them and they know what to expect. You're probably going to get parried on the second one if you didn't get parried on the first. The because and that happened to me a lot, because I'm like, okay, well, I'll just dodge on the other side using a light. Nope, I should have went for the heavy because they're expecting it to be another light. So I don't know how many people are spamming the light dodge instead of the heavy dodge, but it's like Highlanders in a sense where you can his uh, Celtic cancel can go left or right. Even though either way you can block it pretty easily and you can
Hmm.
parry it and stuff and you can react to it. But if you're not expecting it to go out the other side, you have a little bit more time. There's going to be a little bit more time of a window where you're like, oh shit, I got to react to this. Um, so there's that. John, who's very fun. What are your first takes on it?
First take on it, like the hero in general, like my favorite thing is it has an amazing flow to the character. Amazing flow to the character. The transition between moves is just great. Like you throw out a light attack, you target switch a zone into a left side unblockable to hit them with that extremely large arc that you have. It feels great. I love the feeling of the hero. Those unblockable chain finishers, yes, with them being reactable, the fact that they don't have one single dodge timing on them makes them great for mind games, and I love it. So
Wait.
someone's always
Which repeat that last part for me. Which mechanic are we talking about?
for the chain finishers, the
Okay.
unblockable chain finishers, the unblockable light and the unblockable heavy. There's no single dodge timing to get away from them, which is the good part about it. So it's kind of forcing a reaction off of your opponent, which is nice. Great flow, great fashion. The hero in general is just amazing, very well designed, but there are some pretty big flaws with the hero as well that definitely need to be touched up. Obviously, not right away, but sooner rather than later.
Well, just to kind of delve into that a little bit, what are a couple of examples?
The recovery times on his chain finishers. A whiffed heavy has 900 milliseconds of recovery time, and with recoveries of that size, you're not going to want to throw out any unblockable heavy chain finishers
You know,
in team fights. Target switched.
I remember that happening to me. Remember throwing an unblockable heavy. I remember even saying this in when I first saw this. I remember I was like, I threw out a blockable top heavy, and I fainted it, or no, I don't think I committed to it or something, and I was like, I think I fainted it. I don't know. I just remember it was something about I do the top unblockable, and the recovery time off of it was long, a lot longer than I was expecting. I was like, I
Hmm.
thought my guard was gonna block the follow up, and it didn't. So I remember personally experiencing that when I first got my hands on them, and I was
Oh
like, I
yeah,
don't know if that's just
you're left
me.
standing there for a while, like you're wide open.
So there is
The
a bit
same
of a
thing
risk
with light
versus
attacks as
reward.
well. Yeah. Oh hell yeah, hell yeah. You see it did that, but like already with some players who are getting used to the hero, you can notice it right away. Like I'm seeing very little people throw out heavy unblockables in group fights or group situations because if they don't land that or hit somebody and stagger them with that unblockable, they're wide open for a guard break into a heavy. And it's the same story with his light attacks. But you're not ever really going to go for the light attacks in terms of target switches because if you do that, you don't have the hitbox to hit anything. The hitboxes on the light attack chain finishers are I wouldn't say terrible. You can hit people. They got to be directly in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
But with 700 millisecond recovery times on whiffed ones or target switched chain finishers that aren't locked out of the opponent that you're trying to hit, that's going to leave you open big time for another enemy to guard break you and again punish you. They need to shorten those recovery times down quite a bit for sure to improve that. Another thing that needs to be adjusted is definitely the hitbox on his right side unblockables for sure. The right side unblockable, it makes sense why it doesn't have a good hitbox because the way the weapon actually arches,
Mm-hmm.
it's directed towards, it's like directly above you, and then it comes in front of you as you're starting to do the swipe. It makes sense why it doesn't do it, but obviously people aren't going to be happy about that. They'd rather it track to the side like most other heroes.
Right.
You are unable to cancel your recovery on those unblockable chain finishers with your dodge cancels. You can dodge cancel out of everything else. A light attack, a heavy attack, your zone attack, you can dodge cancel all of that. But not being able to dodge cancel your chain finishers it ruins the flow of the
Yes.
character for sure. It sort of it halts you, and that's the only part of it that feels clunky.
I
Not being
would
able to cancel those recoveries.
I would love to see that. See more of that because being able to dodge cancel a lot of stuff, kind of like a Zerker. I compare him to a Zerker in that sense when you can dodge cancel a lot of stuff, and
Hmm.
if you could dodge cancel out of more things, I think that would make the hero more viable. I also think that it would make in some ways, I think it would make for a better flow. I think that the hero's definitely a lot of fun to play for sure. But I think that if they were to put more focus in on allowing more potential for flow or potential for mix up, like with specifically like with the dodge with that dodge cancel, with the option on the finishers, that's something I think that would be really. I think it would add some. I think it would add more of a dynamic to the character. Now, is it going to take away from Zerk? No, I don't think so, because Zerk has hyper armor and Zerk can feint a lot and has the hyper armor off the lights immediately. I mean, he's built to trade. The Zhanhu is built to force a reaction, to kind of get inside your head, to just kind of be aggressive as you can, because honestly you can flow into almost anything. I mean, they were basically rapping when they were doing the you can go into zone attack, into dodge attack, into light attack, you
Hmm.
know. And it's just, that's what I mean, remind me,
That
you know,
was incredible, by the way, when he was saying that. That was insane.
it
I'm
was.
surprised he didn't stutter or
I
fuck it up.
know. I probably would have slipped up a couple times. I would have tried to put three words in one word, and that's what I would have done. It would have happened. And I would have been like, light, heavy, and dash. Like, what the fuck did you just say, guys? The hell was that? Is
Verbal
that a
diarrhea.
word? Is that a language? So, yeah, it was. But yeah, it's fun. The flow feels really great. Zone to light, zone to dash light. The dash light's 400 the forward dash light's 400 milliseconds. The tracking on the heavy is kind of weird. As I understand it, it doesn't start until you've actually committed to the attack. So beyond the feint window,
Yeah, the forward dodge heavy is really funky.
it's weird.
If you feint you're going nowhere. Like you're cemented into the ground and you're not tracking a fucking thing. With the forward dodge heavy, you need to commit to it if you want to track anything. So it's like there's no mind game to it if someone's running away. If they see you inputting the heavy, they're just going to wait for the parry. And the fact that that's the thing, you don't want to use that forward dodge heavy to catch anybody unless it's a roll they're going for. If they're unlocking to run away, you want to use a forward dodge max delayed light attack because that's got the most tracking, the most distance to it. Forward dodge heavy just isn't good for chase if it's not a roll that's being punished.
The Because it's what, 700 ms?
Yes,
I think it's
yeah,
7. I think it's 7.
it should be 7.
I'm going by memory, and my memory could be wrong, but I'm going by memory based on I remember watching Freeze's frame check, and I think that's what it is. I think it's 7. But if I'm wrong, guys, feel free to correct me. The important part is that it's not the fastest. I mean, you've got Yorm with 600, and he can feint that into a guard break, and then you've got Zhanhu, which he doesn't really have an option. He can throw it or feint it.
Yeah.
So, But you can
There's no
chain
mind
off
game
of
there.
it. I think you can chain off of it if I remember
Oh,
right.
you can chain off of it. Yeah, you can dodge cancel its recovery, or you can combo into a zone, or follow up with an unblockable.
The zone
So you-
is the zone's pretty good. I think it's 600 ms, but it's got a 360-degree arc. It's got a pretty decent hitbox,
the
and it
arc,
tracks from.
the arc is good. The hitbox is really fun, really good. Like it's got a good mid clear the zone for sure. But the bad thing about it is it's so slow. Like the general startup of it, just the attack coming out, it's easily parried. You don't If you're playing that hero and you want to be good with the hero, do not use that zone combo in with anything. If you do that, you're asking to get parried. You're asking to be punished. If you do combo into it, target switch it to make sure you're hitting the guy in front of you. Otherwise, it's going to get parried every single time. The animation has a monstrous tail, and generally, the undodgeable effect on it, you can tell it's coming out right away, and it always comes from the same direction too. So
Mhm.
it's good to have because of the tracking. If you whiff your forward dodge heavy and maybe someone tries to roll away from it, God knows why they would roll away from that. You can combo into the undodgeable zone, track some people, close the distance every now and then. So it's not a bad move. It's just it's not good in the aspect that you want it to be. Is what I mean. You'd like to be able to combo it into stuff, but it's just not got the speed for it
It's
yet.
not got the oomph.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be better if it was like Kensei's zone attack. Kensei's zone attack comes out quick, and it's this kind of similar to Kensei's because of the radius of it. It's like a single spin Kensei zone, except it has a much slower startup.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't know. I think what I guess what the mindset is that they don't want to make him too strong.
Mm-hmm.
I think that seems like that's kind of what the direction is now, where Black Prior came out, and Prior was pretty much not necessarily overpowered, but very, very strong
Mm-hmm.
initially. And not, and I wouldn't say broken, but there was a bug where if you change your guard or whatever, you were you
If you
couldn't
were out of
avoid.
stamina and
Yeah,
you blocked the light, that would confirm the bash into light.
yeah, that was definitely an issue. Even after that got adjusted, and some other things got adjusted. Because there was like two issues there, where guard switch was involved in the bash and so on and so forth. But now that everything's adjusted, he's still a very you've got like 9 options out of
Mm-hmm.
pretty much anything. Bash, zone, heavy feint to bash.
Unblockable.
You know the it's it's a crazy amount of things that you can do with them. At any given moment. Instead of parry, you can do a parry, or you can do the flip. There's just he's just got options for days. I love that about the Prior, even though I don't play Prior like at all. I played it a lot when it came out, but it just he feels weird to me. He always kind of has. He always kind of has felt weird to me. So that's just me. But Hitokiri, Black Prior, and then you have Yorm, which is somewhat balanced, but it still needs a little bit of love here and there. I still maintain they need some love. The heavies need to be stronger.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly say that I give him fucking 300 millisecond hyper armor on his opener. Just give it to him. I honestly say
What?
what is it gonna hurt? He can barely trade as it is.
True.
I would argue giving him 300 milliseconds on it. But then again, then people would really be upset, like, "Oh, heavy on red's back, but it's on your big
Reddit would be
gunner."
on fire once again.
Yep.
Once
So
again.
I get it. He's not gonna. It's not
Yeah.
gonna happen. So, but yeah, no. So, but seeing Yorm and now Zhanhu, they're wanting to make heroes that are balanced, or I
Mm-hmm.
think more towards being balanced and not overpowered when they first come out, and they're gearing it more towards fun.
Oh no,
And
100%, and like that's very like it's visible in the hero. Like he a lot of like I was talking to Sorcery about this in my stream today, and he was asking me how I was liking the hero, and my instant reply was fun. And the way that he replied, I really liked was the hero isn't good. He's actually very underwhelming in terms of viability, but he is really fun, and I can understand how fun he is. And that's coming from Sorsu, like not only a competitive player, but a player who has a very competitive mindset in terms of the game. And if even he says the hero was very fun, but is more than aware of him not being viable at all at the top tier, that shows how well designed he is and how they're gearing him towards that. All he needs is some very minor tweaks, and that's how well designed he is. He doesn't need an entire rework. Just very slight number changes in terms of recoveries and the speed of attacks. Speed up his unblockable light and unblockable heavy, maybe, and give him the ability to cancel his recoveries of those unblockable finishers. And boom, that's a wonderful hero you have there. Wonderful hero.
Yeah, he's got a pretty good build so far. There's a couple. I think there's a few tweaks to make. I agree with you, and he could be, Zhanhu could be potentially could be very viable. Could be a very viable hero, and they're not trash now. They're not trash, but they do need some love. There are. I did both duels and Dominion and Breach with Zhanhu. And almost all of our Dominion and Breach matches were all Zhanhu. We were a team of Zhanhus. So I'm a hypocrite because I made fun of everybody going Zhanhu, and our team was pretty much all Zhanhu. So it is what it is. I'm a douchebag. It's just the way of the world, I guess. But in all
What do you think
seriousness,
he's better at then? Duels or fours? Like, is he a twos hero, a ones hero, or a fours hero? I feel like he's more so towards fours.
I'd be interested in seeing what he can do in twos. Honestly, I really.
Yeah, I've actually, now that you say that, like, I haven't seen anybody playing in twos at all.
Here's what I can tell you though is that when it comes to Zhanhu, here's what some of my at the end of the night last night after I got a chance to dig in with him for 3 good hours plus what we got to do before. My thought process at the end of the night last night was basically he's parry bait. It's literally light parry bait because the dodges, while they're 400 ms, it's pretty telegraphed. The opener lights are 500 milliseconds, so you can.
There's a very big thing that I forgot to say about him as well, and this is my biggest pet peeve.
Okay.
And I was very close to getting tilted by it today. Visually, people couldn't see it because I was holding it back, but I wanted to put my fist through my fucking monitor every time I got hit out of this shit. He has non-existent iframes. He has negative iframes on his dodge lights. They are not there. You have iframes on the dodge itself, but as soon as you initiate that light attack, you're entirely open. You throw one light attack in from the direction or in the direction that he's actually dodging, you're going to hit him out of it. Even though they're 400 milliseconds, if they have a wide arc attack that is quick enough to hit you before that shit comes out, it's going to hit you. You can't target switch your side dodge attacks in anti-ganks because you're going to get hit out of them regardless. It's not like Zerker, where Zerker has iframes on his dodge attack, or Shaman having iframes in the dodge attack. Even Kensei having iframes on his dodge heavy. Yeah, exactly. He needs that bad. He needs that really bad. Otherwise, that's only a useful move in maybe a 1v2 for mixing people up in terms of switching it every now and then. But once people get used to it, it's just going to be a matter of either waiting for the parry, or as soon as he target switches, throw out his own, or a side heavy to knock him out of it. It's an entirely useless move in terms of the group situations. You just don't use it.
Yeah, I did find it difficult to utilize it to kind of get away from some stuff. So I hear where you're coming from. The I do like the feats. I like the feats. I'm a fan. The third feats. The third feat. I know a lot of people are saying this, and I'm gonna agree that that feat should probably be sooner. But I also don't think that I would want to trade.
Do you mean the unique feat, the extra damage on
the third
on
one
fire?
with extra damage off of fire? Yeah, it synergizes.
Oh hell yeah!
Everything synergizes off of everything. You have the initial shuriken or whatever that the initial projectile that will that will do damage, or it will do extra damage. If you're on fire, it'll explode. Um, and so you have that. You have I love that his second feat is a trap that you can throw. I
Hmm.
would like to see more of that, honestly. I would
Oh
like to see
hell yeah!
more of it. I think
It's like
that's great.
it's a great utility for mid lane. It's such a good utility for mid lane, especially in Dominion. You're walking up there, you're clearing mid. You throw the little firebomb in there, and you have that little tusk, that kunai explosive thingy, as you're rotating back in, and you see an opponent go in there.
Hmm.
That's loads of easy damage right there. Boom, firebomb goes off, kills a couple of minions. Throw the kunai, boom, that's even more damage. You
Yep,
have that tier 3, which gives you extra damage on them. You land a heavy, that's like 40 damage from that one heavy,
it's a lot,
and that's
and
them almost dead.
I
It flows well. Those feats just build on each other constantly.
I think that a lot of players that play Zhanhu are not gonna want to play, are not gonna take the third feat. They're gonna opt for something different, just because. How often are you gonna actually come into contact with somebody that's gonna be on fire? Or how often, how long is that fire actually going to last? I know that you have the longbow
Mm.
and God, what's the other option? I can't remember. Yeah, the stamina thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
Nuka
unattacked stamina.
Bougie, something like that. Um, we'll call it Nuke for short. It basically, as you're landing attacks, you gain stamina back. So that's supposed to help with flow.
Mhm.
I tried that a few times. I'm not noticing it, but I'm also not paying attention. And because it's easier to parry the lights because they're not the
Yeah.
fastest. It's hard to actually get that flow going. So I think that once this hero gets fine tuned to where it just moves a little quicker, I think we're gonna
Hmm.
see it be, you know, a serious. I think it's gonna be a little bit. It's gonna be a lot more viable, and it's gonna be more of a threat.
What
That's the word I'm looking
the
for.
stamina on landing attack feat?
Yeah. Well, no, I mean,
Uh,
no. The with once. What about it now?
an idea. So you're saying that once they more so fine tune the hero, that the stamina thing is going to be a lot more useful. Is that what you're saying? The third feat, the
Yes.
stamina feat.
Yes. Yes. I think it'll be more viable because you're gonna be able to land more hits if they're speeding up some
Hmm.
of these attacks. Yes.
Uh,
But I've been told that if it's just a block, it counts as a hit, so you get stamina back. If it's a I
oh
don't
wait,
think
what?
that's what I've
I
been
didn't know
told.
that.
I haven't
I
looked
did
in.
not
I
know
haven't
that.
checked this yet. I haven't checked this yet, but I've been told that a blocked attack is considered a hit. So we'll see. We'll have to double check that. This is one of those things. I don't like to do this on the cast. I don't like to give uncertainties out there. But somebody who can test this and confirm and come back and let us know, please do, because that's what I've been told. But I'm not paying attention to the stamina that closely to know.
If that's true, if that is how it works, then I'll actually probably run that feat over the extra damage on fire and the bow.
Yeah, I've tried the bow.
That
The
that sounds
bow's
pretty good.
fun, but
Yeah.
it's not a
Why
fire
no
bow.
fire, bro?
Yeah,
Why no fire, bro? Well, come
that's
on,
what
damn it.
everybody's saying. Why no fire, bro? Bro, please, bro, please fire, bro.
Just bro, come on, bro. Do it, bro. Please, bro, please.
Well, all we have to do is, I mean, we're gingers. I mean, we steal souls and we set things on fire just because that's just what we do. So, I
True,
mean, I guess we
true.
could just like light the son of a bitch before we shoot him. It's
It would
just,
make sense.
I mean, it's not going to
Arson's
work for
pretty hard.
everybody, but
That's the job for me.
so
You should do.
so it's definitely a fun hero as far as viability goes. Though at the highest level of
Hmm.
play, it's just not going to work out for many
Oh
reasons
no,
that we've
not
mentioned.
at
I
all.
think, but
Not at all. More or less for the reasons, yeah. But the thing is, as you said earlier, a couple tweaks would make him viable. Sorcery said the exact same thing in my chat earlier today. A couple tweaks to him make his light unblockables faster, his heavy unblockables faster, and specifically the dodge cancels at the end of those unblockable finishers.
mm-hmm.
Implementing those two changes alone would improve him incredibly and
Yeah.
apparently make him function way better at the top level.
Then
Way,
we
way,
need to
way
get
better.
the then we just need to get the hit boxes up there, and we
Hmm.
need to get the maybe I don't know if we how I don't know how many iframes we need on dodge, but I would say yeah, maybe a little bit. I mean, I can tell you that the zone
At least enough for it to dodge an attack. Like right now, it's so bad that if you dodge attack into the same direction as an attack
Getting
being
hit.
thrown at you, you don't dodge it. You're literally just eating that blade. Like that shit's hitting you in the
Yes.
teeth. Like it does not dodge.
Yeah, that's very true. That, and I found
It's
that out.
bad.
It's kind of that's kind of like Raider in a sense, because but Raider can kind of can delay
Hmm.
the tap a little longer. So I find I do that sometimes with Raider. I'll tap I'll tap immediately. Like shit, I should have dodged that. But if I had waited longer, I would have dodged it and got the tap too. So
Yeah.
it's kind of in that sense, but obviously you don't have as much of an option to delay it really. So if that's changed, that could be helpful too. It's all things that I think are reasonable, all things that are not major things. So I think that the team has definitely done a really good job with the hero. Overall, the fun aspect is there. The potential for viability at some of the
Hmm.
highest levels may be there. We'll see how it turns out. I mean, as far as like I could see it, you know, the indicators, the external indicators, being decent for ganks for throwing people off. Um, that said, if you're up against, actually also it as far as like if you're doing a single pick Dominion, and that person comes along and they're throwing out those unblockables, you immediately have to change your focus so that you can
Hmm.
see whether and make reads
Very
off of
true.
that person. So that whoever the other person, whoever the other hero is, now they immediately have an opening, more of an opening to
Hmm.
hit you with whatever it is they're trying to do. So us like if that's a shinobi and they're trying to externally guard break you from range, you're fucked. Good luck. Good luck, bro. Hope you're a Kensei or a JJ or somebody who can ignore that shit, or you could just, just alt F4 and quit the tournament, you know what I'm saying? That works too.
That should be in the description of Shinobi. Just all that for. I still hate that hero. Oh my god.
I know that it's something that I know that I think the teams mentioned that they're looking into, or they're aware that it's
Hmm.
a concern, the range GB. I
Yeah.
just don't think they're sure what to do with it yet. I'm not sure what to do with it either, because it's kind of a
Hmm.
point. Here's what you do with it. You add external guard break indicators that are, I guess, more predominant. That's what you need. Because when somebody tries to externally guard break me, that's one of my weaknesses. I typically don't react to those the same as I would somebody guard breaking me from the
Hmm.
front. You
Yeah,
know.
I'm kind of the same, but I've gotten into the habit now where I react to the audio cue of the range GB more so than like actually seeing it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Seems to be a lot easier to do that rather than actually fucking oh here's this little fucking floss thin wire coming in with a hook on the end of it. Where am I going? Next thing you know, off to fucking Narnia.
I'm the fucking Narnia.
Wild.
Right through the coat closet, man. Holy shit. Spoilers. Oh my goodness. On that note, I'm your host, Norgoz. This is Daddy Law. He does not need an introduction, but he's going to get one anyway because he's an awesome man. I'm proud I'm proud to call you a friend and
My hero.
my hero. You
What?
you're not okay with me calling you friend. You want me to call you hero now?
No, 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 no. I was calling myself my hero. I'm my own hero.
Oh, you're your own hero. Okay.
Yes.
I I probably would be too if I were you. Honestly, I would probably see myself that way. I don't doubt it for a second. Living vicariously through
We could just sit
yourself.
here for like the next hour and boost each other's ego. You know?
The
Like that
reason
beard is gorgeous. Look at that.
I know
Those
yours
big,
is.
thick shoulders,
Mm-hmm.
bolstering that wonderful head. Look at that hat. It fits you very fucking well.
Oh,
Like, damn,
don't stop.
that's good. Shit.
I gotta tell you, the haircut that you have going on here just helps to bring out the inner warrior within you. I mean, clearly you're
Mhm.
the alpha in any room that you walk into automatically because of that haircut.
Oh hell yeah, dude! I
The
can't.
I believe that we did. Yeah, we had a little bit of a glitch there for a moment. You turned your head, you started to say something, and it froze. And whatever it was that you said or did, we completely missed it.
Oh, just I'm looking forward to growing it all the way down the back, all the way down. Like actually growing. It's going to take a couple months or like maybe a year to get it the length that I wanted to, but I'm wanting to put it into like what do you call them, dreads on the back end. I'm
Yeah.
going for the literal like the Ragnar look from Vikings.
I'll rag your gnar in a minute, son.
Don't tempt me.
Don't threaten me with a good time. You know the reason I like to watch Daddy Law stream? I'm going to tell you guys a secret right now. And it has nothing to do with the fact that he's an entertaining motherfucker. Has nothing to do with the fact that he's skilled. It has everything to do with the fact that he is the king of fucking roasts. Because all of those things, those things are great. But the roasts are the icing on the cake, the cherry on top of the sundae. That's like your bread and butter. It's fantastic. I don't know how you are so witty. But I invite you, Daddy.
Mm-hmm.
I invite you to roast me right now. If we can get a Warcry roast of Norgoz right now, what would it be?
Currently, it looks like you're sitting inside of a farmer's market streaming. It's not a house you're in. You're in a farmer's market. You want to know why? If you look at the pattern on that hat, all I think is culture. Look to your left, it's probably a sheep. Realistically, it's kind of fucked. It's wild. It's not a bad thing though.
But it's
culturally appropriate.
It's not bad.
Fuck's sake. No. Can we call an end to this, please?
All right, show's over, everybody. We can all go home now.
Shit.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Don't go anywhere, please. I'm insecure. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. We have one more topic to talk about, and everything that we've talked about up to this kind of really has really tackled the discussion of our final topic, and that is viable offense. And we talked about it in terms of development, hero changes, Zhanhu, and that's kind of been more the theme, in a sense, I guess, if you will, of what this show has been. It's been about viable offense, and this is a topic that I've been wanting to discuss for over a month now. It goes back as far as to Freeze made a video about it. He talked about, I think, stunning tap and some other things at the time, and how some people wasn't very fond of how he was giving information out to the public. The terminology he used was like you don't like the spoon. You like the information, but you don't like the spoon in which I used to feed it to you on.
Exactly.
And basically,
the exact wording he used. Yes.
Yeah, some people just in the comment section didn't like that he was, I guess, as blunt as he was or as objective as he is. They wanted him to have some kind of feelings and be like, you know what? You need to delete Shinobi because I just can't react to anything. And you need to delete Hitokiri because the heavy on red just gets me every time. And you need to delete the S tier Orochi piece. Damn it, the light spam's too much. I'm sorry. I guess that's what it is. And I'm not making fun of the community, guys. I'm making fun of the specific individuals that seem to, I guess, don't like information. They don't like information. They don't want to grow. They have no interest in that whatsoever. And they want to be mad at people for trying to help them get that way.
They stick within their own little bubble. And as soon as someone gives info or tries to provide them with help that's going to affect that, they're instantly offended.
Exactly.
Instantaneously.
Exactly. They don't want to hear it. And that does not work well in my chat at all. If somebody comes in, they start talking about light spam, even in casual conversation, I'll say, hey, listen, I want you to know that you're probably not going to work out very well here if you genuinely believe that light spam is an issue. I know sometimes I've even said it as like, sometimes I'll say like, oh, they're spamming lights, or that's a bunch of light spam there or something. Typically that's linked with like high ping, and I'm like, well, there's not much I can do about that at that point. But sometimes I have mentioned it as just referring to something that's going on, and it is me that's making, if I'm getting caught by it, it's my own fault. That's the difference, though, is I recognize that. So some people will, they'll use that terminology, and that's okay. But you got to, but I'll caution people against it, because whenever you say light spam, my immediate thought is that, so you're telling me you're somebody who just doesn't, who can't react to it, and either you have no interest in improving yourself, or you have tried to improve and you've kind of reached your limit and you're just frustrated. I get that it's frustrating if you especially if you've tried to improve yourself and you seem like you're just hitting a wall. That's definitely going to be frustrating for sure. 10 times more than actually just not being able to react to things at all. You're actually
Mhm.
trying. So I get the frustration at that point. But the majority of people that say that's not who they are. Those are the people that just they don't like it, because you're supposed to be able to react to everything at 700,
Yeah.
800, 900, 1400 milliseconds, and it's just not slow enough. But I guarantee you, here's what would happen if the dev team actually did that. If the dev team changed the attacks back to what they were on day one, let's go back to Lennon's list. A few episodes ago, we started talking about Lennon's list. Lennon Cat gave me a list of things that we could go back to on like day one or previous builds of the game, where we had issues with various heroes, or we had peer to peer, or we had um, vortex, things of that nature, that we can go back. You know what I'm saying? We can go back further to where we had previous builds, and we had issues that that I could list, and you'd be like, yeah, no, I think I'll stick with what we I'll stick with what we got. I'll stop complaining. So
These
I
days may feel dark, but they were much darker. They
and the
were
games
much
come
darker.
and the games come a long fucking way. I
Oh
mean,
fucking hell, yeah, dude! Like compared to what it was on day one, if we're being entirely honest, it's a fucking diamond compared to then. Because with being as kind and as heartfelt as possible towards the game, it was a shit show on day one. I'm being entirely honest. It was the peer to peer system. A couple of things, obviously, brand new game, but it was terrible. But the distance it came from then, that only shows the dedication of the fucking team, but
yeah.
how much fucking work that's been put into it. And it's great now. It's so good now. Yeah, we're still moving forward and there's still things to be done, but we're in a fucking great spot now. A great spot now. Like this is like right now, I couldn't name a single issue apart from matchmaking for me personally. I could not name a single issue.
Okay. So sorry, I hate doing those moments. Like, okay. It's like I usually I do that when I'm pausing, because I think someone's not finished. And I thought you were gonna say something to the effect of, I don't think there's anything, right now that I can think of it's a a big issue or something like that, other than that. But ultimately, when it comes down to, um I think I would tend to agree that, like, that's one of the major issues that we have right now. The team's aware of it, they're working on it. I get it.
Mhm.
Um they're working on it. So I know that there's a lot of things that people might have concerns about or complaints about, and I guarantee you that in the future you're probably going to see a change with it. Um, this is just based on my I guess foresight or something. Like, my prediction. I'm just predicting that, based on the way we've been going, you're going to see a lot of good stuff happen. You're going to see a lot of good stuff happen with the game, and saw a lot of good stuff happen this year, and I think we're just going to see more viable offense happen in the future. I mean, I know that storming tap for some people is it's kind of dialed back because you lose the stun. I know some people. I know one of the arguments is that, we could have gone a different direction with it, way maybe not reapplying the stun, and I think that's a restriction of the coding or the engine. I don't think that they have the option of doing that,
Mhm.
because think about it. How
Yeah,
would you do that without breaking the other stuns?
exactly.
I have no idea. I don't. I've done very little programming, or very little coding. But the coding that I have done, it's you change, like I say this almost every single show, but you change one thing in the coding and it could break everything else. So you have to be careful about what you change, and they're aware of that. And I think they've done a pretty good job of adjusting the massive number of adjustments that they've done in the last few patches and last few seasons. It's it's been incredible, and they haven't. I'm gonna eat my words. I'm gonna eat these words that I'm about to come out of my mouth. I'm still gonna say them. They haven't broken anything in the process. or if they have, it's been very minor. It's
That's
not.
actually a good point.
That's a lot of things that they've changed. They've slashed recovery time substantially. They've made adjustments to the timing of attacks, the timing of hyper armor on attacks, to the speed in which heroes run, to the forward movement on several different attacks, to several different abilities. Shaman, this last patch had like 3 or 4 attacks they had, or 3 or 4 abilities that got forward movement on it that was changed and adjusted and improved. You had Skewer was improved on Gladiator in the last big rework for him. You had a lot of different changes that were on that same scale. And if you think in the grand scheme of things, I don't remember I don't remember hearing people complain about, well, this is broken now and that's broken now, and it was ultimately a unintentional consequence of changing
Yeah,
or the programming for something else.
there hasn't been something like that in a long time, has there?
I
Like there
Not
really
that I can
hasn't.
think of.
I can't remember. Like the last time something was broken from an update. I like from memory. I honestly can't say what. Like I have no idea. Last thing I could remember is maybe when BP got added and that light bash was confirmed.
Hmm.
Light bash light was confirmed when people had stamina, but that's it. That's the most recent thing I can remember. But other than that, I can't hear anything else. Or I can't hear anything else. I can't think of anything else. The quality of the patches has definitely increased 100%.
Um, Hang on a moment. Yeah, no, I don't think that's happening. Okay, never mind. Um, so sorry. Let's see. I always had to double check something in the background. All right, so yeah, I can't think of anything that's been like really major either. I know Freeze will always come out with those videos on that stuff. Is But I can't find I can't remember anything that's like super major, but he finds all that shit. So if it's anything
Mm.
that happens, he'll figure it out. But I can't think of it as like super major shit that's happened. BP's probably the last one that I can remember where it was a really big deal.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything, and maybe there is. But it's late for both of us, later for Daddy here, and he's
5
he
a.m.
he's
Let's
just
go.
he's just finished up with like 3 24-hour streams. He's ready to go for 4 more. I don't know how the hell he did it. We had a talk before in the pre-show, and I'm like, I'm telling you, man, between the ages of 25 and 28, that's when it all started to go downhill for me, and it's gotten worse after 30. I can tell you, and I mean, I start to feel old. I need to start working out again. I just can't seem to find the time or make the time to really commit to it. And I'm sure I would feel better if I actually did take the time. Hopefully I will stop slacking off, and we'll get to it, and I'll feel better. But yeah, I don't know how. I remember back when I first started streaming. I used to do that. I would stay up late, get up early, go to work, and I'd stream 4 hours a night. I would sleep maybe four hours a night, maybe as well. No problem, not an issue. I might be a little tired. I was all right. So
On that grind.
nowadays, huh?
On that grind.
Yeah, on nowadays though, if I get 6 hours of sleep instead of, I no, no, let me rephrase that. If I get 7, it's rough. If I get 6, I'm dead to the world. I just can't do it anymore, man. I'm getting old. I just cannot. There's just I've got willpower, and that's what gets me through the day. Is just pure willpower, and that's it. By the end of the day, like right now, I'm so dead. Leading up to this point, roughly half of the day, I'm solid. I'm ready. I'm witty. I'm on point. Like you could make a joke or you could heckle me or something, and I got something to come back with right away. But not you could do that now, and I'm like, all right, you might have me this time. I'll work on that one. I can tell a joke. You're like, well, I went to the doctor. The doctor told me I had a problem, whatever the hell the bullshit punchline was. Then
somebody heckles me and I don't know what the hell to do with it. Well, yeah, I guess you got me, man. I'll just go back to the drawing board on that one. That doctor joke was pretty dumb anyway. I mean, who goes to the doctor and finds a joke from that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Anyway, viable offense is something I think that we're just going to come. It's just coming in strides. It's just going to
Hmm.
come more in strides. We've seen a lot of really good changes. And that's all I think I really have to say on the matter is that that everything we've talked about leading up to this has been pretty much touching on it in one way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
It's kind of been the theme of the show. Um, any final thoughts on the topics we've talked about?
Just overall, I personally feel that the development speed and the way they're going about it is great. The changes that they've been making to heroes are great. Yeah, Storming Tap is viewed as a very bad change, but I agree with it entirely. Obviously, I can't say why. NDA and such. Zhanhu, the new hero, brilliant design. A hero made in such a way where he only requires very minor tweaks to make him very viable. And the game's moving towards a very, very sort of viably offensive state, which is great, which is the entire opposite of what it used to be in.
It was
The
very
game's going
defensive.
forward at a very, very, very good pace.
I agree with you on that, and I had an in depth discussion with I don't want to say who. I feel like if I start name dropping on this show, what's going to happen is that the people that watch and listen to this show are going to start pinging these individuals directly and saying, "Oh, well, you know what Norgoz said? He's fucking stupid. Don't listen to him." Or it's going to be like, "No, that was a joke." But in all seriousness, they'll start pinging them and be like, "You know what?
Mm,
Here's the thing. Uh, don't don't do this, that, and the other thing, or whatever it is, or you know
hmm.
what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's just one of those things. Like, I don't want to do that. But what I can say is I had an in-depth discussion, and I did bring that up, and I said I believe that the speed of development, personally, I believe that it's good. I believe that there are a lot of changes that have been happening. I believe that there have been a lot of good changes that have been happening. Like again, I keep going back to the recovery changes. That's a huge thing. That's a
Hmm.
huge thing. Dropping it down to where you're not where you can actually move your guard, switch your guard, counter guard breaks off of whiffed attacks and things of that nature. That's huge. That's huge for pushing aggression, for pushing the offense. So moving toward more viable offense in a sense. So that's a great change. We just talked about the forward movement and all that good stuff. There's a lot of really good things that are happening, and I know that people want it. There's a lot of people that are out there that really want it to be faster. But I think in the grand scheme of things, if you go back and you really look at it and you really think about everything that's changed and what little has gotten broken in the process, I think we have a lot of really good things that have happened and a lot of really good things in our future if we continue down this path that we're going. So, is it in the speed in which some people might want it to be? No. Is it going to satisfy everybody? No. Are there some people that are out there that just want that instant gratification? And if they actually got that instant gratification, they'd be fucking disappointed? Yes. There are those people out there for sure. But there's definitely a lot of good things that have happened. And, there's some, like I said, I'm torn on some of the changes. I am torn on Storming Tap. I am torn on. I'm not so much torn on Hitokiri losing hyper armor, but I'm a little torn on it being back to 500 MS. But
Hmm.
I have. I mean, there's. I'm sure there's good reason for that. I'm sure they have their direction to go. Uh, that said, that said, it's getting towards the end of the show, and I want to actually comment on this. The clip that your guys are watching right now, this is the last match of last night's stream that I had, and you'll notice I'm on Raider, and I still was able to do fairly good with Raider. Now I don't remember who these people were, or I think that this group was decent, if not the one before that was pretty awesome. Um, but this group, but you'll notice like that I'm still able to get storming taps on. I'm still able to kind of mix up a little bit afterwards. So it's not completely taken away. Um, but the reason I brought this up and I wanted to point this out is that up to this point, I was pretty much always playing Zhanhu. And I started to say this earlier on. Yeah, we were doing a lot of Zhanhu, and we weren't doing so great as my raider dies. And we weren't doing so great with the Zhanhu, and I'm like, I gotta get one win in. I gotta get OW in here, okay? So we were doing well, all things considered. There were some victories we did that were just flat out just destruction.
Mm.
But overall, it was kind of rough. It was a tough. Some of these were really tough battles, especially for those people that were actually had their shit together or had good comps. So it's so I was like, I gotta get this raider in here, and I wasn't disappointed. I think that was the first raider fight, raider play I've had since it went in, aside from the dev stream. But I think that, I mean, it still hits people. Damn it, it still hits people. It's still going to hit people. The only thing you got to do is you're just gonna have to work harder for the follow up.
Mm-hmm.
You really
Exactly.
are, and so I don't know.
Raider isn't dead. We would have known.
Yeah,
Raider is actually still usable. Holy fuck!
it is. It is. It is going to be. I mean, it is genuinely more difficult after the storming tap to get follow ups. It really is. If you throw a light, the people that are at the higher end of the spectrum, they're probably going to parry it.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, not everybody's at the top of the spectrum. So if you're not that high up, I wouldn't worry about it at all. I would not be concerned with it at all whatsoever. Raider is basically still the same hero. He has slight damage adjustments, but other than that, storming tap's the main big thing, and it didn't break the hero. So that's a really good takeaway from that. So I wanted to show some footage from the Warrior's Den. I've got roughly 40 minutes of footage. I wanted to show a clip of Daddy, and I asked him what was one of your the look on your face.
I got worried. It was like, what? What did I do wrong? Shit.
I wanted to show a clip of Daddy where he he showed his ass, and I'm just kidding. He didn't do any of that shit. Stop it. Don't. He didn't do any of that
I was
stuff.
looking forward to that, to be honest. I didn't remember doing it, so I was curious.
He did not do that in the Warrior's Den. Or at all. Okay, he didn't do it at all. But he did. The important thing is, because I led up to that, somebody's going to try and put two and two together like, oh my God, what the hell? So so we're having fun here. It's all good. We're friends here. We're all friends here. It's So I wanted to show a clip of Daddy.
That's super curious.
That said, I asked him a question. It was one of the what was one of the greatest moments that you've had since joining the For Honor community, and he shared a really heartfelt message of that. I want to show the footage, but but some of it I need to edit and post where I didn't tell everybody ahead of time you need to project, and I didn't remind everybody that you need to speak up louder if you're not facing the microphone. So there's some things that I need to edit and post, guys. That's why I haven't released these videos. I haven't had an opportunity to do that yet. So, Daddy shared a heartfelt message. I hate to ask you to repeat it, but would you like to share that with us live?
Yeah, sure. Not a bother at all. Remember it word for word. So the best memory that I have, and it's probably going to stay as the best memory that I'll ever have of For Honor, was the day my brother walked into my room and asked me for help. And because of For Honor and the community that it has, I was actually able to help this man out. He walked into that room and he told me about the credit card debt he was in, the fact that he was out of work, he needed help with the mortgage in a house. And the thing is that at this same time, same-sex marriage had just been legalized in the North as well, which is incredible because my brother had just gotten more or less engaged without getting engaged to his equal other. And he asked me for help, and I just instantly said, with my reply right away, what do you need? What do you need? He said, I need this to set down the mortgage for my house, get me out of debt so I can get into a job, get comfortable, and actually have a home. And I, within a heartbeat, because of all the support that I've gotten from For Honor, not only by streaming it, but from the devs, giving me a platform to present myself and actually put myself out there. I've had people donate, give me bits, sub, and all of that's went towards me actually being able to better someone else's life. My brother's life and his fiance's life. They're out there in a house right now in Belfast, probably sound asleep right now. Not a worry in the world about credit card debt, not a worry in the world about mortgage. They're going to wake up tomorrow. He's going to go to work. His fiance's going to go to work. Whenever they come back, they're going to have a cup of tea and have a meal together and enjoy the rest of their day. They don't got to worry about anything now. And I was able to do that because of For Honor. Fucking amazing. Amazing.
Daddy, that it's really it's really moving to hear that. I heard that before, but still it's fucking amazing. You said it yourself. It's fucking amazing, man. And I'm really grateful to that we have someone like you in our community. I know that um sometimes there are people that don't that do misunderstand your humor and your entertainment, and that's unfortunate because they're really missing out on an awesome fucking guy. I mean, you really are. I've said it several times before, and I've said it several times since meeting you. Like you're the real deal, man. You're a genuine dude, and
No, you're breathtaking.
no, you're
No, you.
breathtaking. No, you.
No,
No,
you.
you're breathtaking. uh, but really, you are breathtaking, and we fucking love you, man. We do, and I'm glad to have you. I'm glad to have you in this community. I'm very thankful to have you on the show. Very thankful to have you somebody that I consider a friend, and I
After Montreal, we're family.
fucking family, man.
Fucking family, dude. Family. It'll happen again. We're going to meet again at some point. We're going to have another couple of drinks together.
I
Guaranteed.
it's some
Matter of time.
Montreal or not, yes, it's gonna have to happen. I got Dublin's on my bucket list, so
You tell me when.
I
You just
have
tell
to.
me when.
Yeah, because I gotta go to the we gotta go see. I gotta go to the real. I gotta get some real Guinness, some real Guinness. So we'll see. We'll see when that's gonna be. But my man, it's been fantastic having you on. It's been great. Uh, I mean, it's just been a fucking experience, man. These last few weeks, it's just I or these last couple of weeks have been just they've been breathtaking to have. You know, going to Montreal, meeting you, meeting the other creators, and you guys really know you. And the thing is, you're all professionals. You know your craft. You study your craft. You know, I talked with Verbs and talk shop with him for a while, and I mean the preparation that he goes into in order to shoutcast and know the game is fantastic. I talked with a lot of the with a lot of with a lot of people there that are both um, from from creators to people on the dev team and things that they do and things that they've done. It blows me away. Like the amount of respect that I have for you guys as creators and the people that are on the dev team as well. Like it's astronomical because when you actually get to see and hear from the individuals themselves everything that they go through, you can't help but love them. You can't help but love them, and you right away. I knew you were one of the good ones. I knew you were one of the good ones, Daddy.
My heart. My heart.
You only get 3 good ones in your life. He's one of the good ones. Now, if anybody happens to get that reference, I will gift you a sub to any streamer in the world that you want. The first person that gets that reference in chat while the stream is live, I should probably give that disclosure. One person. The first person that gets that reference. But yeah, we're going to close that here in a few minutes. So figure it out and put it in chat. You get 3 good ones in your life. You're one of the good ones. So
It's been a fantastic time. Anybody? So, where can we find you, Daddy? We all know you're a streamer. We all know that you're a full time streamer, and you're doing like 50,000 fucking hours of streaming every month. But when can we find you? Where can we find you? Preferably without the dab, because it's the most disgusting thing that I've ever seen you do. Like, you're really, really pushing it here, brother. I mean, we may be
Oh,
family,
shit.
but somebody, my mother told me
Edit that
what
out.
My mother told me once. She looked me. I swear to God, I shit you not. My mother told me once. She said, we're family, and just because we're family, I can love you, but I don't have to fucking like you. Like that's that's right. My mother told me that. That's what I thought in this moment. Like, holy fucking shit, you just dabbed. All the good things that I've said about you just kind of dabbed out the window right now. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, man. You're a good dude, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate your
Mhm.
humor. But yeah, where can we find you, and any shout outs you want to give?
Same place as always. Daddy_law_69 on Twitch. I'm growing myself on Twitter now, getting close to
Oh,
1,000 followers.
ooh,
Daddy_law_69 at Daddy_law_69. And tomorrow, I'm actually doing a squad stream with Lonnie Cho, another For Honor streamer. She was also in the Warriors Den. Amazing person. Very close friend of mine. One of my best friends, I would say. Check it out. We're both doing cosplays, face paint and shit. We're going to go nuts.
that's good. That's good,
It's going to
man.
be good.
I'm interested. So, at what time? What time was this going to be?
11 a.m. BST for me. So that's in 6 hours.
6 hours from now.
Yeah, for
Okay.
me.
Well, I will tune in when I wake up tomorrow. When it's hopefully I'll wake up like 15 hours from now, and you'll still be streaming. But if not, um, I will definitely have to catch the VOD for that one. It sounds really, really interesting. And Lolly is a like Daddy said, she's awesome. She does dank customs. She doesn't take shit from anybody. But she's a very genuine individual as well. Like, she makes it a point to hang out with other people in the community. And she's got a sense of humor. Um, you guys saw her, like Daddy said, you guys did see her on the live stream. She was the one that was basically the harasser for our group. She did a really good job of executing. She was pretty much everywhere at once. She was
Mhm.
pretty much everywhere at once. It was pretty good. She did a really good job. Um, all right, cool. So tomorrow, 6 hours from now, we will get to be able to see the squad stream, and so I'm looking forward to that myself personally. And I'm probably not going to sleep because of this. Damn it. I'm gonna end up waking up. I'm gonna like go to bed. I'm gonna wake up like 3 hours from the time I go to sleep, and I'm like, all right, what time is it? I need to go back to sleep. But wait, no, Daddy and Lolly chiller. Ah, shit, I gotta get up.
We'll be streaming for like fucking. Oh, I'll be going for about 11 or 10 hours anyway.
11 or 10 days. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, exactly. Here we go.
That's pretty much. That's
I've got
pretty
the
much.
supplies here, man. I'm ready to go.
I see the supplies. I see
It's like
the
a
supplies.
doomsday bunker.
Right there. You go. We got some jerky in there. Is that got some jerky?
Mainly whiskey and boomer juice. That's what I
Did you
run on. That's my fuel.
did you say boomer juice?
Boomer juice.
What?
Boomer juice, bro. You can't tell me you don't know what fucking
What are
boomer
you-
juice is.
Is this a monster thing?
Why? You don't know what a fucking boomer is?
No.
But oh my god.
I mean,
you
like,
really are,
the
you really
drink?
are a zoomer. You really are a zoomer.
Whoa, what do you mean?
Bro.
I know what the term means, but you're talking about a drink?
Yes,
Okay, well that's
it's a boomer.
okay. I'll have to take your word for that. I've never heard that before, I guess. Like, I'm old. What do you want me to do? I don't know what listen, I don't know what the kids are into. I don't know what's hip nowadays.
I don't know why it's called a boomer. They just call it a boomer. I started calling it a boomer too.
Okay, boomer.
Okay.
I have successfully
I walked into that one.
I have completely drilled that phrase into the ground now. I used it twice successfully. The third time was just, you've already. I do that. I'll make a good joke and then I'll just bury it. put more dirt on top of it, keep using it. That's what I end up doing. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure. I things and stuff. I'm here Tuesday through Friday, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Mountain Time, excuse me. We don't do daylight savings. I say that because this is 8. This is 8 p.m. Central Standard Time is when we're doing this, and I
We're
can't. It took me a little. I'm a little slow on the uptake, but
I was committed. I was committed.
He was
I
committed
wasn't
to
going
it.
to stop.
I knew he
Thank
wasn't.
God
gonna,
you didn't leave me hanging.
It wasn't gonna leave you hanging, baby. I wasn't gonna leave you hanging. if you're just listening to this as a podcast, you got to watch the visuals for that. You're gonna have to rewind it and get the run back on that one. You will not be disappointed. That one's going on Twitter. That one's going on Twitter. That's the entire clip for the entire show is just that right there. That's all right, man. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. I mean, we talked about a lot of good stuff, and I would love to have you back on in the future, and hopefully you'll be as gracious then as you have been now. I actually gave Daddy a little bit of short notice on this stream or on this show. Actually, not too short notice, but I try to give people like a week, and it was only a few days. Very actually no, it was a 3-week notice. It was a 3-week notice. Any other podcast host that wants to invite him, you need to book him like a month in advance. You know what I'm saying? You got to book him a month in advance. Don't bullshit him. Make sure that you have a full case of Guinness, not that shit from the U.S. He likes the authentic stuff from Ireland. Don't fuck around with that. Man knows
None of
his
that
beer.
carbonated shit.
He doesn't like that carbonated shit, so don't give him the Guinness Blonde from the U.S. He'll fucking hate it. That's the one that's got the most carbonation in it. So you don't. I think yeah, that's the one that's got the most carbs. You don't want that. You don't want that. I kind of dig it, but that's me. I don't know beer apparently. So thank you for joining me. Thank you all for joining us. It's been a great time. Myself, Norgoz, Daddy Law, the Iron Man, the myth, the legend, the bringer of law, the daddiest of laws, the beard hero, the one and only Viking warlord.
The boomer.
I hate all of you. I can't believe I hate chat right now. You all suck. I don't know what. Why do I even? You know what? I'm gonna. Hang on a second. Where's the emote only chat? Hang on a second. Emote only chat has been engaged. There it is. Your fun is over. I'm kidding. It's back off. All right. Thank you so much for joining us. That's gonna be it for us. Have a great night. Have a great rest of your weekend. I am gonna be hosting another streamer, so I'm gonna poke myself off. So, Daddy, if you want to wave, I'm going to take you off camera here, and I am going to host somebody else in the directory. I've still got Daddy Law here with me, but I'm going to be hosting somebody in the directory here for Uner. We want to share the love with someone that I believe is an up-and-comer, is a very chill person, is a overall good dude, and that is going to be Real Careless Rex. That's who we're going to be hosting tonight. Daddy, you know about Real Careless Rex?
Real Careless Rex?
Yeah.
I'm very rarely awake at 5 a.m., so I never. Maybe he's not been on my time.
Oh. Well, you're in for a treat, as well, my friend. You grab your morning beer and your cereal or your eggs, and sit down and hang out with the one of the last Aramusha mains left. Real Careless Rex. We're gonna throw out the host right now, guys. Thank you so much for the love tonight. I'm also gonna throw a raid here in another minute. That's gonna do it. Good night, everybody.